Hello, where'd my socks go? I had a pair of socks, but I lost them. Hello, welcome to My Life is a Classroom. I am 3 minutes late, but I'm here. Energy is off today. How are you today, Star? Welcome to the live. We will be talking about whatever we are talking about. Sometimes you guys suggest topics in the comments. Sometimes we talk about whatever randomly is on my mind. I'm realizing that I am a people pleaser, so I wanted to talk about that first. How are you guys doing? Welcome to the live. I realize that I am a people pleaser because I am constantly worried about other people. And I think that there's different forms of people pleasing out there. And the type of people pleasing that I do, I want to talk about that. But let's introduce myself to the audience. What's good, y'all? Welcome, Silver Fox. I am Lonee Appleton. I am a healthy family advocate. If that is your content of choice, please consider following, commenting, sharing, and joining our community. I go live daily, Monday through Saturday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here on TikTok. Welcome, Sis Savage. And pretty much my content, Melissa, is My Life is a Classroom. And what I do is I talk about what's going on in my life. I talk about whatever we talk about in the comments, and we just really build a vibe, and it's kind of a sister circle type situation going on amongst us. You guys meet each other in the comments, and you start following each other, and we just really get to vibe here, and we are vibing now. Ashley, welcome. Welcome, everybody. I have discovered today that I am a people pleaser because I am constantly thinking about people. I'm constantly, hey, Kelko, I am constantly taking people into consideration. I am wondering what people think about what I'm doing. I don't do things to impress people. Hello, Amelia, I like that name. I'm not doing things to impress people, but I am doing things with people in consideration. It's kind of bothersome. How are you, dear? Yes, it is 12:05. Is it officially afternoon? And so I don't know if I like that about myself, because I had to go to the bathroom before my live, and I was like, it was 11:59, and I was like, damn it, I gotta go to the bathroom. And I was like, but I'm gonna be late for my live. Hey, Kelly, I was like, I'm gonna be late for my live. And I was like, but you have to go to the bathroom. So I was almost willing to try to hold so I could be on time for the one or two people who are sitting out there and like, it's 12 o'clock, where is Lonnie? What's up, Washington? What's up, everyone that has joined? I'm Lonee Appleton. Today we are talking about, or presently we are talking about, my being a people pleaser. Historically, people pleasing has been, hey, Big Rob, how are you, friend? Historically, I have viewed people pleasing as you're doing things to please other people. Yes, little sister. Love you, little sister. Yes, little. Okay, you look damn good, Big Rob, if I'm your little sister. Yes, that also speaks to your dedication. Yes, it does speak to my dedication. I'm here, and I'm here for you guys. My energy is so off. If you guys can see, I'm over here stumbling because I'm trying to find my flow. I'll eventually find it, but I woke up at 5 this morning, and I was up, and I'm trying to figure out a schedule because I'm not used to having a job. I'm not used to having to show up somewhere routinely, and so having to show up every day, I'm just like, ugh. I don't feel like it today. And I woke up at 5 a.m. and I was editing videos because I'm just like, how do I fit in everything that I need to do in a day? How do I do it? Because really, I live my life. I know, man. I live my life according to my own schedule. I've been blessed to be able to set my own schedule. Even when I worked from home and I was teaching children English from home, I've always able to say, this is when I'm going to open my schedule. This is when I'm going to close my schedule. So I've always been able to, not always, but Michael is 6. Michael is the last time that I had a structured corporate job. I worked inside of a group home with young ladies. That was one of the most craziest experiences of my life, working with troubled youth and just trying to relate to them and trying to be a mentor to them. And when you're dealing with someone with that level of trauma, is something that I had to learn, is you never have a space. Hello, hello. I hope you have a wonderful day. I know you just pop in and I'm going to be here for a while. So whenever you're ready to pop out, if I don't see you, thank you so much. I always appreciate you hopping in and supporting me. And the support in the community, of course. When you're dealing with someone with that level of trauma, you never have a space of confidence with them. You never have a space of comfortability with them. And I didn't know that because I'm not used to people with that level of trauma. So that's a good point to make. As you're connecting with people, as you're growing with people through life, you don't know their background. And so when you're coming in thinking everything is normal, what is normal? Because the next person's brand of normality is not your brand of normality. So if you're coming in with your ideologies and thoughts, and this is how you treat a person, and you treat them that way, and they respond a certain way, we have to figure out how that particular individual wants to and desires to be treated. And the best example that I have for that is I had a coworker, and we were joking, and she said something funny. I was like, "Oh, you are so stupid." Like, and she got so offended. She was like, "Don't call me stupid." And I was like, "Well, I'm not calling you stupid. I'm just saying, haha, funny. And I use stupid interchangeably with funny." And she was like, "I understand that, but don't call me stupid." Like, her whole dynamic and energy shifted because she has trauma in relation to clearly being called stupid. So we have to keep that in mind when we are dealing with people, and we have to be open to people telling us how they need to be treated. Because when I worked in that group home, man, I stepped in a lot because I didn't know how to move around those children, and I actually ended up losing my job. That's one of the few jobs that I lost. Most of them I quit, but that's one of the ones I lost because I had rapport with this young lady. Welcome everyone to the live. I am Lonee Appleton, and this is My Life as a Classroom. We are talking about my life, and you guys can converse in the comments so that conversation can not only be you listening, but also having a vibe going on in the comment section. So yeah, there was this young lady. I was a teacher. My background is in education, so I was a teacher in the classroom, and the kids were all pretty much learning on their computer. So I was just making sure no fights broke out, really. That's what a teacher in a group home is, just making sure the kids aren't fighting. And they fought all the time, man. I've been in the middle and breaking up a lot of girl fights in my time at that job. But anyway, I used to toss things at the kids. Like, I'll ball up a piece of paper if they're in the front of the room, and I would just throw stuff and I would just play with the kids. Well, I threw a Beanie Baby in the direction of a kid that had a phone call, and somehow me throwing the Beanie Baby, I don't even know if it hit him or if it hit right to the side of him or whatever. And it wasn't like I chucked it at him. I just threw it to get their attention because they had headphones in. And so, yeah, they got their entire team involved, and they ended up getting me fired. But let's talk about what the devil means for your demise, or the devil means for your downfall. And boom, this is why I'm talking about this, because I'm going through a season right now, y'all, where anybody will say that the devil is busy. And I have a series of videos, or maybe just a video or two, mentioning that the devil is not busy. The devil is perspective when you think about things happening in your life. If the devil is busy and we think that the devil is this big bad guy that's just tearing through our lives and ruining things for us, when can we ever take accountability for our actions? I didn't do it, the devil did it, right? So that is a way that we use, or that is a crutch that we use not to take responsibility for our actions. Also, that is something that we get trapped in, thinking, oh my gosh, if something happens, if we encounter a problem, the devil is busy. Well, if we shift perspective, then things are happening for growth opportunities so that we can become more of ourselves, because that is the goal in this lifetime, to become more of ourselves. Thank you for the likes. Please share the live with your network so that people can join the community. I appreciate you, Coco TF. And so I'm going through a season right now in my life where I'm just like, okay, God, I'm thinking we beefing right now. I'm thinking we got beef right now. The way that everything is working out, I'm like, am I not stepping the way you want me to step? Am I not speaking the way that you want me to speak? On one side, I'm like, I see where we're headed. And where we're headed, all of this is going to be gone anyway. In the next 12 months, my life is going to look extremely different. I feel that in my soul. But in the process of getting to those next 6 months, not even 12 months, getting to the next 6 months, it's hell. Like, this is the stuff that I've never encountered in my lifetime. And so I'm just like, okay, how do I play this? And I'm working very, very hard at not responding to it. The last time I was in a space like this, I became very negative. Welcome everyone to the live. I became very negative. I became very much victim mindset. I became, why are you attacking me? The devil is busy. You hate me. And then, like, I was so low that I was, oh, you know, my husband Dre is one of the people I accredit to saving my life, because if it wasn't for him, I don't think I would have actually gone through with it, but I definitely would still be in the headspace of entertaining those thoughts. So we have to be mindful of the people that we surround ourselves with, because in that time, I was surrounded by a lot of depressed people. I was living in what I refer to as a depressed house. Everyone inside of that home was depressed. We would actually have conversations about ending our lives. Not saying, oh, this is how I'm going to do it, but we would have those conversations like, yes, I get it. And actually, one of the people that I lived with, she actually drove to the cliff. It was going to jump off of the cliff, but she thought about her mother, and she couldn't leave her mother behind. So that's why, in that respect, those bonds with your family members are so important, because when life's not enough for them to hold on, sometimes you are enough for them to hold on. So we have to make sure that we are reaching out and we're keeping that close connection with our children. Thank you for the love. We are keeping that close connection with our children. We're keeping that close connection with our parents. We think just because we turn 18 and we move out, or whatever age it is that we move out, we no longer need to associate with our parents on a day-to-day basis. Well, we have to understand that you being in the home on a day-to-day basis was normality. Normality for you, normality for your parents. So when you do that, you know, you're breaking their routine. And if your parent is a single parent and now you have moved on and you're leaving your life, now your parent is left to be an empty nester. But in that empty nesting, that is a shock to their system. So make sure you're checking on your parents when you move out. Hold on really quick. Okay. Dre, you can't open that door. You're going to knock my phone over. Your parents are empty nesting, and, you know, they got to figure that out. So you got to have those relationships, and you have that connectivity not only to your children, but children have that connectivity back to your parents. You can't just think, I'm grown, time to separate. But yeah, I lived in a depressed house, and it was terrible. I would sit up all night, eat cheesecake. I was in the best shape of my life, and then I just went to a depression, and I got into the best shape of my life. And so, you know, I credit my husband, Dre, to being one of the people who pulled me out of that space in my life. And I haven't entertained those thoughts and ideas again, but I'm in that space now where I was in then. As far as in the physical world, everything is falling apart. And it's like, okay, God, I understand that things happen secularly and they cycle back, because universe is trying to see, okay, have you elevated? Because I cannot elevate you until you elevate. So now that I'm in the same space that I've been before and it looks familiar, that's why we pay attention to our lives, because once we pay attention to our lives, we start seeing patterns. When you wake up and you feel a certain way and you're like, when's the last time I felt this way? Okay, what was going on in my life? how did I come out of it? If we can see how we come out of certain spaces in our lives historically, then when we encounter it present day, we're like, okay, I understand that this feeling that I'm feeling right now is not going to last, because the last time I experienced this feeling, it did not last. And so the last time that I was in this space that I'm in right now, it did not last. So why am I going to send myself to depression? Why am I going to send myself? Because I'm not clinically depressed. My depression was circumstantial and situational, which means when my circumstances and my situations changed, my depression changed. So that means that I can't speak for all other people, but I can speak for myself. That means I chose a state of depression because my circumstances changed. And they were depressive, which is on purpose. They want to keep us in a space of depression because they feed off of that negative energy somehow. This country is crap. And this country is crap because the vast majority of the people living in this country are depressed. I don't know what other else clinical things they got going on, but they keep us this way. Look at our TV. Look at all the things that we entertain. TikTok, for instance. They might cut my TikTok for saying this, but I ain't the first one to say it. TikTok in China, where this app is owned, is nothing but educational stuff. It's nothing but, increasing knowledge stuff, awareness, those types of things. That's what their social media looks like. TikTok in America, we all know what it is. It's a cesspool. Literally, people out there getting millions of views right now for sitting holding popcorn in a flat iron, acting like AI. That's what American TikTok looks like, vast majority, because this country is set up to keep us dumb. So if you have established your life according to American principles, and someone is coming to you and say, hey, here's some progressive things that you can do for your life, and you're like, nah, I'm good. Well, where did you get your foundation? Because if you got your foundation from Americanized, non-progressive thinking and thinkers, then you might want to consider some progressive thoughts and philosophies. So, working at the group home, the devil is busy, and that's how I got on that. But yes, I don't want to leave depression there. I chose depression, I chose anxiety, I chose all of those things, and I'm speaking for myself. And now that I'm going through something similar again in my life, I'm like, am I going to choose that again? Well, I know that this is circling around because the last times that I experienced this, I'm like, I don't want to experience this again. I want to grow from this. I don't want to be here again. So universe is like, boom, let's do work. So now I'm here again, and I'm here again in a major way. And universe is like, are we doing work or not? Because if you're doing work, I could do work. So I've been working really hard to maintain my mental space. I've been working really hard to stay on a positive note. And it's not difficult because I've been working on understanding and observing my life. What I'm going through it. I'm not in it. I'm going through it. So again, like I said yesterday on our live, becoming the observer in our life. If you don't know how to become the observer in your life, I discussed that in this book, What's the Best That Can Happen, available at LoneeTaylorArt.com. But becoming the observer in your life, if you can do it in a meditative state, all you have to do is open your eyes, and now you are an observer in your physical world. So I've been going through all of this as the observer and just watching it, and I'm just like, damn, I got my popcorn too. What's going to happen next? Because it's crazy. The washing machine broke, and I'm like, damn, the washing machine broke? What else? It's like everything on top of everything. And, I don't know. I think that things are always happening. But when you don't have the means to either fix it or replace it, and that could be in relationships, it could be anything, it could be with a job, it could be anything. I think things are always happening, but when you have a deficit, so you cannot replace it or correct it, now we're looking at it as one thing after another, one thing after another, one thing after another. No, it's always, thank you, this is my Lonee Taylor Art logo. Boom, I got on shorts, I promise. It's my Lonee Taylor Art logo. It is, I could have did that. on the inside of all of my merch. So yes, you know it's real. Show me the logo. Awesome. And I saw you did your opening, your package opening. I hope you don't mind I borrowed the video so I could share it with my audience. But I'm so happy that you love your backpack and you love your t-shirt, or your friend. Hopefully the baby did not outgrow the t-shirt by the time they got it. But yeah, we are going through life. We don't have to give it that emotion. We feel like we must give things this emotion to things. And the funny thing is, the emotion that we feel is okay to give is anger. So we cannot correct, we cannot speak, or we cannot do anything unless we're expressing anger for some reason. Hey, Trinity, how are you? So back to the story of the job that I lost because I threw a Beanie Baby in the direction of my student. I don't recall if I hit them, but it definitely was portrayed that I did. So they called their whole team in. They're having meetings. I'm sitting in meetings about myself, and ultimately the decision was made to fire me. And I was 8-9 months pregnant with Michael in the company. And the reason why I'm telling this story presently is to show you that when we think the devil is busy and we think that something negative is happening, we never know why something is happening. And if you are on path, if you are vibrating the way you need to vibrate, and you are doing the things that you need to do in life, then whatever happens is supposed to happen to move you to the next level. Remember, we're climbing stairs in our life. And if one thing, in order for us to move up, we have to leave something behind. The only question is, how does that leave behind look? You know, sometimes that leave behind is a choice. You end something, and sometimes that leave behind is a loss because you lost something. But for some reason, we feel okay and we have the correct energy when we choose to end a relationship. And it doesn't have to be with a person, or a relationship could be with this water bottle. And I'm just saying this water bottle because I have this water bottle here. But if I choose to disassociate with this water bottle, it is my choice. So I am okay with it. But if the water bottle chooses to disassociate with me, now I'm going through depression. Now I'm going through because we have control issues. We have to understand that if an ending happens on our terms, we're okay with it. If an ending happens on anyone else's terms, we have a problem with it. So it's not the ending in itself. It is not the ending in itself. It is the fact that the ending transpired not on our terms. So when I lost this job, thank you so much. I appreciate you stopping in there. And when I lost this job in the beginning, it was, I got fired. I lost my job. But I was 9 months pregnant and I was going on maternity leave in a few weeks anyway. And so when they fired me, the particular company that I worked for did not have maternity leave. They did not have maternity pay, which means when I went on maternity leave, I would be out of an income. I would still have a job waiting for me when I came back in the X amount of weeks, but I was not going to be bringing in any money while I was on maternity leave. Well, when I got fired, I ended up being in a space where I can receive unemployment. Well, now, boom, there's my maternity leave. So instead of looking at it as, damn, I lost my job, I looked at it as, damn, I was going to have to stop working anyway. I literally got fired the day that was supposed to be my last day to go into maternity leave. So I was allowed to work all the way up until my maternity leave. And then when I went on maternity leave, the company never responded to the unemployment people to say why I got fired. And so I ended up getting unemployment. So I ended up getting paid maternity leave. So things that people mean for bad in your life, things that seem to be a negative in your life, are actually just repositioning you. Just like I say, as parents, we are our children's bumpers. Thank you. As parents, we are our children's bumpers, which means here and here, it doesn't matter if you got to split yourself on both sides because you're a single parent. Anyway, you have to manage your children. You don't have to dominate over your children. You have to manage your children. And that is life. This is your spiritual, whoever your higher being is. I identify God, but whoever your higher being is, they are managing your life, which means you can go within this track. You can move through life like this. I don't think you can move like this and now you're gone. No, something's always going to bump you back. And what I like to associate that with is bowling. You know, when your little kids are learning how to bowl and you pop those bumpers up on the side, you are the bowling ball. Your spirit or higher self or whatever you identify are the little bumpers. So you're allowed to move within your lane, but as long as you stay in your lane, and if you choose to get out of your lane, you will be bumped back in place. And that is the same position as a parent. If your child, they have some space to move around because that's how they learn, right? If our kid can only walk a straight line, if you can only walk a straight line, they are depriving themselves of experiences. If you only think one way, if you only think linearly, and there's only one way to do things, then you are depriving yourself of experiences. That means when someone comes to you, like myself, and say, hey, have you considered this? And how can you make what I'm suggesting something applicable to your life? I am never suggesting that you do as I do. I am never suggesting you do as I say. I'm suggesting you start thinking and you stop doing what has been done to you in your version, but you actually start creating the life that you feel you deserve. So, what does that look like? Within your bumpers and your parameters, figuring out who you are. We limit ourselves because we want to fit in. And that's how I started this life off. I think I'm a people pleaser. I think I'm a people pleaser because I take people into consideration in everything that I do, which is a good thing. But remember, well, you don't remember if you're not in my videos, but if you have not joined the community, join the community, because there's a lot of this going on there. But in one of my videos, I forgot. I'm a people pleaser, but I totally forgot why I'm a people pleaser. I know why I'm a people pleaser, but I forgot what I said in my video. But anyway, I'm always taking people into consideration in everything that I do. Oh yes, in one of my videos I said that there is life is a pendulum. Everything is a pendulum. Everything has an infancy and everything has an extreme. But if we don't acknowledge things at its infancy, that gives way for it to become the extreme. So with me, people pleasing can be the extreme, which means you are denying yourself and you are doing whatever is necessary to keep those people in your life. I am doing whatever is necessary to keep people on my live. So if I want to earn money and I want to do these things on live and this is what's trending, I'm going to do what's necessary to get that attention. So people pleasing can be attention grabbing. It can do anything. Pretty much people pleasing in the negative to me is doing things outside of yourself that your heart's not in it. Your heart's not in it. It's not you, but you're doing it for other people. So that's what people pleasing on the extreme is. On the other side, people pleasing for me is I'm always taking shoot. That's what I get for sleeping till 11:30, thinking I'm going to get on live at 12. My voice was like, my whole body's like, you ain't even woke up yet. So anyway, yeah. People pleasing for me is always taking people into consideration and making sure that not only am I okay in doing what I want to do, but are they okay in doing what I want to do? So now that I'm coming to the terms, which keep taking people into consideration is a beautiful thing, if you ask me. Being considerate of others is a beautiful thing. But I also can call it what it is. I am a people pleaser because I can't do what I want to do, and it bothers me because sometimes I just want to do me. I want to do me and not worry about nobody else. I don't care how my actions impact anybody else. I don't care what other people think. I really don't care what people think anyway, but I don't care about any of those things. All those things that I may be considering, like, okay, I was 3 minutes late for my live and I left people waiting and I don't want people to think that I'm irresponsible, because I'm not. I just had to run to the bathroom and life happens. I've never been on time to a job, even when I had to clock in and so now that I set my own schedule and I put myself on my own schedule, I was like, well, damn, maybe I should start at 12:30. No, because if I start at 12:30, guess what? I'm gonna be late then too, because I'm going to push everything to the last possible minute because that is a character trait that is either innate in me or that's a character trait that I have chosen to have. So I know I don't care if my live start at 9 a.m. or my live start at 9 p.m. I'm going to be showing up at 9:05. I don't know why. That's just the way that I am. I try to work on it because I'm cognizant of it. I am cognizant of making other people wait. I am cognizant of other people's time. And I just want to be selfish sometimes. I just want to be able to be late. I want to be able to not perform. I want to be able just to be me without thinking about other people. That is some shadow work that I need to do because it's a positive, right? Taking other people into consideration is a good thing. But always taking people into consideration, I think that's something to be considered. Because I set this schedule. I was like, Monday through Saturday, boom, I'm showing up. I could do 6 days a week. My husband works 6 days a week. Sometimes my husband works 7 days a week. I could do 6 days a week. But I was like, damn, that's a lot. Especially when I'm trying to ramp up in other areas of my life. I'm trying to ramp up in my mothering. I'm trying to ramp up in my wifing. I'm trying to ramp up in my taking care of my home. I'm trying to ramp up in my physical fitness. I'm trying to ramp up in other areas in my life. So if I'm trying to ramp up in other areas of my life, can I really afford to go live 6 days a week for 3 to 5 hours? I don't know. But what about the people? What about their expectations? So that is what I'm running into right now. So I'm going to read the comments to see what feedback you guys have for me to, how do you guys deal with people pleasing? How do you guys, function with taking other people into consideration, but also stepping back and just doing what the hell you want to do? Because there's a lot of people out there who are parents. There's a lot of people out there who are in relationships. There's a lot of people out there who just move through life. And those of us who take other people into consideration, is there ever a time that you don't? I see Coco. Coco's like, I don't. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. Have a day full of love, peace, and joy. I said the same thing, but pacing is important. I'm trying to find my pace, Coco. Like working out, start with 2 days if you have. Right now, I have something that I have to do, which is going to equate to a workout because I'm going to be lifting stuff and vigorously moving. So yes, I was supposed to clean my house yesterday, but the landlord gave me an extra day, so I put it off until today because it is not something that I'm looking forward to. But I have to go start in my garage, and those of you who know, I live in Arizona, so it's going to be like 110 out there doing the whole overhaul because my garage has become a dumping ground, and people have just gone in there, grabbed what they need, and then just dumped it back, myself included, especially since I haven't been working in there. And so because when I was working in there, it was more of an organized chaos, but because I'm not working in there, it's just a chaotic mess. So I will do something adjacent to working out today, but I told Dre to start tagging me on or giving me home workouts to do, and I'll do whatever he does because he doesn't manage to snatch that body, and a lot of that is him just working out independently. So I was like, your first client? I will be your first client. You just tell me what I need to do. So he tagged me on a workout that I have yet to do because, pacing. How do I do it? I like working out. Start with 2 days. I have to be in the mood to work out. I don't like working out. And did you work out in your youth? Did you enjoy physical fitness in your youth, or is this something new for you? I'm going to pause you really quick because Kaden is yelling in the background and I don't like it. Hold on. Why does it always kick me back up there whenever I come up off of pause? That just seems like a flaw with the system. They just need to leave my stuff alone so that I don't have to try to... And how the hell do I get that little bitty circle away from the comments? It won't let me get my circle, y'all, so this might be our live today. Damn it, there we go. Boom. I don't want to be a circle. I don't want to be a rectangle. I want to be a square. All right, let's see. That part of shared viewers, getting off work. Okay, I went way up. I'm trying to read the comments, y'all. Invite, I said, like working out, start with 2 days. I've learned it's more performative for me and I don't actually care. It's hot in the desert. So what is performative for you? Is that the people pleasing that is performative? Or you just work out because you know it's something that you need to do, but you're not really passionate about it? What is performative for you? Hey, Vaughn. Let's see. I did yoga this morning. I believe in you. You know, I stretch during meditation. That is the extent of what I've got. When I came back from Jamaica, I was like, I'm going to start stretching and I'm going to start meditating again. And then, you know, I want to do yoga because I know yoga is going to help with a lot of the aching in my body and the mobility in my body or immobility in my body because I got arthritic symptoms, but my doctors have yet to diagnose me. And I kind of don't want to get diagnosed because I'm not going to... Whatever prescriptions they give me, I'm not going to take them. There has to be a natural way to do this. So whatever's going on, I need a natural way to resolve it because I refuse to be, you know, chained to a prescription for the rest of my life. Whatever I'm experiencing, I'm sure somebody in this world has experienced it and they managed it naturally. So I don't know what it is, but I've changed my diet and I need to incorporate physical activity. And once I incorporate physical activity, if I'm still experiencing issues, then... you know, I might go get a prescription. But that's last resort for me. Thank you. I hated it. Honestly, like getting me to work out was like pulling. I know it's terrible. I don't like it. But when I get in flow, I be going hard for a solid 3 weeks. For a solid 3 weeks, you would think that I was who's the hardest worker out there. That's me for 3 weeks. But I'm at a point after attempting so long that I've accepted that it feels good when I accomplish. You know, accomplishing anything feels good. Anything feels good. Hey, Dr. Joe. Thank you for sharing your Black impact. I got bored with working out too. I got bored too. Man, I hopped on Dr. Joe's live. I screen recorded, so I hope that's okay. But I hopped on your live the other day, and Dr. Joe just started feeding into my spirit. So if you guys are not connected with Dr. Joe, she is another amazing woman out here who is leading and teaching and just doing her dang thing. She has started the Black Girl Impact movement that is just, you know, if you go and just check those hashtags, has millions of views and people are just doing. There's the Black Girl Impact Challenge that she has initiated. And it's really just, how are you impacting the world, Black girl? You know, it's not about anything else except for how, well, per me, it's not about anything else than how are you elevating yourself, and in elevating yourself, you are elevating others, you know. So, and I say Black girl, but I'm sure it extends to everybody. But of course, we want to better ourselves. We have to better ourselves before we can better anyone else. So definitely check Dr. Joe out. All right. Let's see what we could talk about. I'm going to create a schedule. I think I'm getting down there. So I have Tuesdays. I'm going to do, it doesn't matter. That's just what I happen to read. Let's see. Holding on to something too long, far too. What do you guys want to talk about? Physical touch after. Oh, yeah. Did we talk about arguing yesterday? There's a Black Girl Impact hashtag too. Yes, definitely check out the hashtag. And definitely, you know, I think if we all just, you know, some people have said to me, you know, when I'm doing stuff, I'm like, how would Lonnie handle this? You know, or what is my Black Girl Impact? Whatever we need to do. Remember that, you know, what would Jesus do whole phase that we went through, and we would, you know, some of us took that to heart. and we would stop. I know there was a little spell where I was just like, okay, what would Jesus do in this situation? So whatever you need to attract into or attract to in order for you to be the better version of yourself, pull that into you and acknowledge that there's areas of improvement, whatever those areas could be. So let's see. I'm going to look. Codependence. Is your spouse your best friend? I was talking to a friend, and they were talking about how growing up they heard that being best friends with your spouse is a negative. And I've heard that too growing up. You don't tell your spouse everything. You keep secrets from your spouse. I remember when I was growing up, there was a Different World episode. Those of you who are old enough to know what a different world is. There was a Different World episode where Dwayne Wayne was asleep and Whitley woke up like X amount of time before him so she could fix her hair and she could, fix her makeup and brush her teeth. Like, do people really wake up with bad breath? And if you wake up with bad breath, did you brush your teeth the night before? Like, that whole wake up with bad breath thing is weird to me because I don't wake up with bad breath. I mean, my husband may say something different, but I'm like, I have to brush my teeth before. Hold on, I need to brush my teeth. Well, did you brush your teeth last night? Because if you got all that crap out your mouth, then you should be okay. But anyway, she got up and she just preed herself up. And then she goes and she lays on the pillow. And then Dwayne Wayne wakes up and she's just perfect and flawless. I've heard women say when your husband goes out on Sunday, that's when you do all your beautification processes and all those different things. I know women who, and this is not criticism, this is observation. I know women who don't poop in front of their husbands. Like, yeah, you don't poop in front of your boyfriend. Boyfriend is temporary. You don't poop in front of your husband. You're with this man forever. So you mean you are holding yourself until he goes to work or till you get out of his presence? Why? Because you can't let your husband know that you're shit. Like, it's really weird, some of the standards that have been impressed upon women in order to shrink themselves and to seem more feminine and just perfect in front of men. So the pressure to be perfect is coming at every angle. We're pressured to be perfect to our peers, because if we're not perfect to our peers, if we're not perfect to our peers, then they're coming at us. If we're not perfect in our relationship, they're coming at us. I'm sure there's plenty of people who judge me and be like, damn, he accepts you and you can't cook. He accepts you and you don't da-da. He accepts you and da-da-da-da. And there's people on the other side who was like, oh, you accept her and da-da-da-da-da. Or you accept, it's just all those different things. We're always looking at each other. And the measuring stick that we're judging each other with isn't even our measuring stick, because we're not even living in our truth. The measuring stick that we're judging others is the measuring stick that society says that we should have within the Black community. So, first of all, are you judging me from your lens, or are you judging me from the Black culture lens? And then once we get clear on that, then maybe we could do some work. And then you're going to realize, why am I judging her when I got so much work of my own to do? Every time you spend a second focused on somebody else, that's a second that you were saying that somebody else is more important than you. And I'm self-centered as fuck, so I'm always worried about myself. I'm worried about how I present. And in my presentation, I am comfortable in my presentation. Not how I present, is this comfortable for other people? No, how do I present? Am I comfortable? How do I speak? When I misspeak and I say, a instead of an in front of words, or I say is instead of are, I'm cognizant of it. But when I'm speaking, I'm just speaking and it just comes out. And sometimes I correct it and other times I don't. But trust and believe, when other people are talking, I'm like, and, were, is, and, I'm correcting them because I appreciate your support, dear. Thank you so much. I'm correcting them, but now that I'm watching my videos back and I see how often I misspeak, I've laid off on it. I'm not cured, but I've definitely laid off on correcting people. Now, if you use a totally different word and the word that you use means something else, then I'm going to say something, because I'm like, if you continue to use that word, you're taking this story a whole nother direction. So let's get the right word in here. But otherwise, I believe if you are trying to do the work and correct some things about yourself or realign, correction means that there's something wrong. So we need to be cognizant of the type of words that we use. But if you're trying to realign some aspects of yourself, just like going to the chiropractor and getting your spinal cord lined up, we have to get our lives lined up. Some of our lives have scoliosis, and we got to get it together. But as you align yourself, you have to admit that, I forgot what we're supposed to admit. So I'm going to take a drink of water. I am not on my game today. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, I was talking about relationships. Kind of breath. My breath smells like crust 24 hours a day. I don't know how. I don't ask no questions. Ironically, I swear my mouth smells worse and is dry when the night before when you brush. You know what? I don't use Colgate because Colgate makes my breath stink. So everybody has to acknowledge their body chemistry. So you might be, all I know is if you don't get the little bugs out your mouth, they're going to eat into your teeth, and then that's how you have a problem. So at the very least, But everybody needs to know how they function. I'm still working at not being like angry or bitter because the green-eyed monster can be strong. Oh yeah, it is, especially when you have desires and aspirations for your life and they're not moving the way that you want it to move. I remember I was on social media. Hold on. I want to write this idea down because I remember what I was talking about. And I don't want to lose it again. I remember when I was on social media and I was still single. And my friend's daughter, who I helped raise, was trying on her wedding dress. Like, I changed this little girl's diapers and she was getting married before me. And when I tell you I deleted my Facebook, I was so jealous. Because at the time, I thought marriage was just a goal. I didn't understand what marriage was. I just wanted to be married. I did not understand the work that's necessary on myself and the work that's necessary in order. My little feelings was hurt. I was just like, I was scrolling my timeline. I was like, Janae? Ain't this some bullshit? I was so mad. But I can admit it because it just pissed me off to see I was in a space, and that's why you got to be careful with social media, and that's why you got to take breaks. Because if you are inviting anything into your life, and just because it's societally normal, who cares what society does? You have to do what is healthy for you. And if scrolling your timeline is pissing you off, and the thing about your timeline, there's a bunch of positive things happening in people's lives, and you're like, these positive things aren't happening in my life, so I'm pissed off. Get off of social media and start focusing on yourself. And that's exactly what we told the angel last night. Some of you that are maybe caught my live last night because I hopped on live because we were having a family meeting. We were having a family meeting because Angel is not handling her business. And so my question for her was like, when are you going to be self-guided? When are you going to become a self-starter? Because we have tried to extrinsically or externally motivate you. Hey, nobody likes living in your filth. These are your responsibilities. This is your job. This is how you earn your keep. This is what you do to be a part of this family. Hey, we would try all these different things, and none of that motivated her. And so Bailey is apparently the parent in the house, because she gonna stay on my head until the parents do what she wants them to do. I let her know, I was like, your energy is that which of you are one of the energies that run this house. Because, and that may be what's going on with your teenager too, because if they don't get what they want, they shift down that energy, which they probably learned from somebody. Bailey learned how to manipulate through shifting and shutting down her energy from me. And so as I learned that I knew I was shutting down, I didn't know how to stop. Now I do. I don't shut down so much energetically anymore. I am now in the space where I understand that the things that I was doing technically were correct. It's okay to withdraw yourself from people. It's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to walk away if the situation is too much for you to have a conversation. It is not okay for you to storm out. But if I can't have this conversation right now, you can excuse yourself and say, hey, I can't have this conversation right now, so I don't say something I don't mean to say. I'm going to leave the room. Don't leave the house unless that's something with you and your spouse that you guys agree on. Trey used to leave the house all the time when we first got together, and I was like, if I can't leave, you can't leave. And he respected me enough, and he stopped leaving. Now he'll leave the room, but he won't leave the house anymore. But it's okay for you to say, hey, I need to separate myself. And the first time I walked out under this new ideology, I was like, you're being such a drama queen. Why are you leaving? I was like, because I'm removing myself energetically. I'm not going to shut down. I'm not going to do any of those other things. But what I can do is, you guys don't deserve my energy. You're not treating me the way that I feel that I want to be treated. So I'm out. And it doesn't have to be a big drama. It doesn't have to be a big negative thing. It doesn't have to be any of those things. So yes, my daughter learned how to manipulate people through energy from me. And so she's like, yeah, these kids. And she's like, Angel needs a schedule with her electronics. Angel needs da-da-da-da. And so, because Bailey came home from work at 10 o'clock, and she was like, my 18-year-old, those of you who aren't familiar, she comes in and she's like, how was I at work all day? It's 10 p.m. and the kitchen's not clean yet. And I'm in my room and I'm listening. I'm like, Mama Bailey's home because, Mama Bailey. So she comes in my room because I already know as soon as she brings up issue with one of the kids, the next stop is me. And she's like, Mom, the kitchen's not clean. I've been at work all day and I don't understand how she's sitting there on her phone and she's sitting there on the computer and the kitchen's not done. And I was like, okay. Either you can tell her that she needs to clean the kitchen on my behalf, or you can go and tell her to come here. So she tells Angel to come here. So those of you who were able to catch my live last night, that was us just having our conversation where I was just like, when are you going to be self-motivated? When are you going to be self-guided? Everybody in this house, even your little brothers, and this isn't me comparing them to each other. This is acknowledging like everybody has the capacity to be self-guided and self-correcting. That's the word, self-correcting. And I was like, even your little brothers, they will be in the middle of doing something wrong and they'll stop themselves and they'll correct themselves and say, hey, can I, whatever. And so I was just like, what do you need in order to self-correct? And she was just like, well, I don't know. And I was like, well, you not knowing what you need is a problem. So the reason why you don't know what you need is either you don't want to stop and think about what you need. You don't want to communicate with us what you need. Or did I already say you don't know what you need? Stop and think, don't want to tell, don't want to, you just don't know. And I was like, how do you not know what you need? If someone asks you a question about you, your answer should never be, I don't know. Now, if you don't know, it's not, I don't know, dead it. It's damn, I don't know. Let me stop and think about myself. So we have all these things that are distracting us in life, and we're accepting it as I don't know myself. So I'm sitting here talking to my 11-year-old and I'm just like, I don't know cannot be your answer for anything. Any question that I ask you about you, you better not tell me I don't know. You don't have the right to tell me I don't know. And all of these lives that I record here will eventually, I'll do it today, will be loaded up on my YouTube, Lonee Appleton Lives. Yes, that's what it's called. The same name is spelled just like that on my Cash App. So Lonee Appleton Lives on YouTube, they'll be loaded up there so you can catch any of those things. Because yeah, I'm going to start recording us live. I'm going to start giving you guys what I talk about. I'm talking about all these theories. I'm applying them in my life. And so I'm going to show you that. And I've talked to every member in my family, and they've all agreed that I'm allowed to record these things. Now, they have not agreed necessarily to always be on camera, but I can record their voices. And so I'm going to start, just going live. And that's the point that I wanted to say. If you want to, hey, Miss Barbara, if you want to, thank you for leaving your review. I saw it on my website. Thank you. Yeah, guys, if you've purchased anything from LoneeTaylorArt.com, please go and leave a review. And yes, raw and uncut. Please go and leave a review so that other people can know that it's real. I know some people don't want to buy anything until they see that the seller has been verified by other buyers. So please, if you purchased anything, please consider going and leaving a review. 5 stars would be appreciated. But yeah, I'm talking to Angel, and we're like, the only solution is for you to lose your phone. Because if you were distracted by your phone, if you were distracted by the computer, if you were distracted by the TV, if you were distracted by a book, all these different things for entertainment, if you were distracted by playing with your brothers, if you were distracted by anything, then sitting down and getting to know yourself, because the prime ideal environment is I'm getting to know myself while I'm scrolling my timeline. I'm getting to know myself while I'm watching TV. That's what I do. I watch TV and I'm like, boom, that's a lesson, that's a lesson, that's a lesson, that's a lesson. So I'm being entertained, but I'm also growing. So when you ask me a question about myself, I can answer it because I can be distracted and still learning about myself. That is the idea. That is the spirit and soul coming together, and now you are becoming who you need to be collectively. Hold on real quick. Hold on. Oh, they didn't pop me back in the corner, y'all. I'm still in the middle. Hey. Yes. So, yes, we concluded that Angel has 7 days, so a week. Angel has 7 days to correct her behavior. Because we were like, well, what do you need? And she's like, I don't know. I was like, okay, well, your 7-day clock starts now for you to handle your business without having to be told. You know what your action items are. Either you're going to get on the ball and you're going to get us up off your ass, or you're going to not get on the ball. And now we're going to, this isn't a punishment, because in the past it would have been a punishment. Give me your phone. No. The conversation that we had, and I was so proud of it. I was so proud of everyone involved in the conversation. This meeting involved me and Bailey mostly. Dre chimed in every once in a while, and Angel. And everybody was able, if you get a chance, I'll upload it. I mean, it's something to watch. If you want to figure out, how to start moving in a way of correcting your children without reprimanding them and those old behaviors, this is a very beautiful example, I believe, of how we have gone from, you can't do nothing right, give me your damn phone, you're always distracted, always focus on all this. That's usually how I have discipline in the past. And Bailey is chiming in, because Bailey with the big chimer, she's like, yeah, and So what I've noticed last night was Bailey, for the most part, maintained her energy level. Remember, we can say the same thing. It's all about the energy. So we can say the same thing, but it's the energy behind it. And I noticed I'll ask Angel a direct question about herself. And then Bailey will go and chime in on her stuff, and Angel would immediately focus on Bailey. I was like, Angel, you keep waiting for an opportunity to focus on your sister who doesn't matter when I'm asking you a question about yourself. You matter. You have to matter so much that you're willing to know yourself. You have to matter so much that when someone asks you a question about yourself, you're willing to do the work. So we didn't just take her cell phone. We asked her what she needed to be successful, and she couldn't answer the question. I was like, the fact that you don't know what you need to be successful means that you are too distracted, which means, what are your distractions? I was just like, Angel, this is logic, right? So this isn't just give me your phone and your kid doesn't understand why. It's not give me your phone because, this is a punishment. No, Let's look at this logically. I'm asking you who you are. I'm asking you what you need. You're not handling your business even though you're sitting here telling me you know you need to handle your business. If you know you need to handle your business, she was like, well, I know the kitchen needs to be clean. I'm going to clean it in my time. But the adults in the house have told you that they would like the kitchen to be cleaned by 8 p.m. The adults in the house have told you their requirements. So what you're saying is you don't care about the adults' requirements. You don't care about your sister's requirements because, like I said yesterday, we're cooperative over here, which means we take everybody into consideration when we're making our decisions. So we were sitting there yesterday and we all were having a conversation, and Bailey's involved in the decision making because I was like, Bailey, if we come to a conclusion that you don't agree with, we gonna hear your damn mouth. So make sure you're here and present so that we ain't gotta hear, well, Bailey doesn't agree. So we got to please Bailey too, which is the way it should be. We all live in this house. Why can't we all be taken into consideration? Yes, you're a child, but why are the adults the only people who get to make it a comfortable space for them? We all need to be comfortable in this house because I want my kids to be comfortable in my house so that when they turn 18, they're not running as fast as they can. So in order for my kids to be comfortable in my house, I must take them into consideration when making my decisions. And so Angel's like, she doesn't know. I was like, Angel, so this is just logic. Let's just stop and think. If you don't know what you need to handle your business, why not? Is in the house with two strong women. Oh, yeah, she's in here, and we're going to grow her. She wants to be mediocre so bad, but we're not going to let it. We're not going to let her. And I know that's a harsh word, but that's what she's trying to do. She's like, I wish you guys would just leave me alone and let me figure it out on my own. I was like, sis, you've been figuring it out on your own for 10 years. Because for 10 years, I didn't know that I needed to help you. So who you are today is based on you trying to figure it out on your own. You've had 10 years. Let me have the last 8. And so she didn't know. And I was like, it's because you're distracted. You're too busy focused on everything else in your external world that you can't do the internal work. Bailey's able to be distracted by the external world and still do the internal work because she knows that she matters. I'm able to be extracted by the external world and still do the work because I know that I matter. Angel is not to the space where she could be distracted by the external world because she does not understand that she is not the external world. She feels that if she can perfect her external world, that she will perfect the perfect mask. So my daughter is very much on the way to being a person who masks. And I created that space because I've allowed her to raise herself for 10 years because I didn't understand her. Because she's the aspect of my personality that is the most difficult aspects of my personality. And I would just bump up against her. It's like, I don't even understand this kid. Well, then that means you don't understand yourself because God gave you that kid. Now, the unfortunate thing is the way that we are out here. Hey, Tiffany, welcome everybody to the live. If I haven't welcomed you already, I apologize. And I apologize if I didn't welcome you by name, but welcome, welcome, welcome. I just happened to look down and see Miss Tiffany Michelle done joined the chat. God gave you those children because you can raise them. Something that I believe to be true is when we're spirits and we want to come down to this earth and have an experience, we identify the vessels that we must come through. We need this DNA, we need this DNA. Now, those two people come together and they created you. I know this beyond a shadow of a doubt because Angel's father is not a man that I would ever look twice at. He's not. But for 3 weeks, I was in love. We was going to get married and going to live happily ever after. Neither one of us had a job. Yes. Just such a ridiculous story. But anyway, she needed that DNA. Now, the unfortunate thing that we are encountering is we are not being selective with the people that we choose to have children with. But if a child's supposed to come, can we really be selective? Angel chose her mother. Angel chose her father. So how selective could I have been if Angel did the selecting? So we have to look at it from the spiritual side. Angel chose her parents. We look at it from the physical side. I chose her raggedy ass daddy. So could I really have not chosen him if that's the DNA that Angel needed? I don't know. That's a deep thinker. I don't know. But I do know a lot of the other men that I chose and I did not produce children with, those were all bad decisions. But if I'm staying in my lane and I'm bumping along like a bowling ball, maybe I was supposed to make those decisions. Had I not made those decisions, I could not sit here and tell you guys these are bad decisions. If I never made a bad decision, I can never tell you what a bad decision looks like. So I don't know. I don't know if we can avoid our life. I don't know if we could avoid our lives. I don't know. But what I can say is the unfortunate thing that some of us are doing is we are reproducing with people that we don't have. They don't stay. So we end up being a single parent. Whatever reason why. We end up being a single parent. My reason why I became a single parent is because I had miscarriages. I have three live births, four live births, and 3 miscarriages. I had 2 miscarriages before I had Bailey. So by the time I had Bailey, I was like, God already knows if the baby's coming, so why am I going to make that decision? I'm not going to go and have an abortion, and I'm pro-life. You do whatever the hell you want to. It's your body, it's your life. If you are not ready to bring a child into this world, please make the right decision. But for me, I am not pro-life because, right? Is it pro-life? It's pro-choice. I'm pro-choice. Yes, pro-choice. Do what you want. For me, I'm pro-life, which means I choose not to have an abortion because I've had so many miscarriages. I'm like, God knows if the baby's coming. I don't need to make the decision to God. God's already made the decision for me 3 times. I don't need to make it anymore. If I'm going to go full term, I'm going to go full term. And if I'm not, I'll know in the first 3 months because I miscarried at 3 months for all 3 miscarriages. And so the first 3 months for me are the most traumatic because I have lost all 3 of my babies on month 3. So I'm just like not telling nobody. I'm keeping quiet. I'm literally, how they have the pregnant women and they go send them down into the, don't nobody know you pregnant, you disappear. That's the way I am for the first 3 months of my pregnancy because if I lose it, then I don't want to, hey, I'm pregnant. I'm not, and so that's why I never had one. But you do what you want. I don't care. It's your body. I even I've experienced everything. I tell Bailey, I was like, let's figure out where this shit is legal because if you don't handle your business, unless you're ready to be a parent, which I know you're not, we got to go figure some stuff out. So, not sure why I started to, Angel. Yeah. So, yeah, that was our live last night. And I told her, you got to get to know yourself. I don't want to get to know myself. You got to get to know yourself, kid. By any means necessary. The only thing that I require of you is for you to get to know yourself. I don't require anything else. Everything else, we can work. What do you need to be successful? And so, what's sad that I experienced everything? Or that she doesn't want to get to know herself. Yeah, it is sad. It is sad that but remember, this is my child that I have pulled out of the, I don't even want to be on this earth anymore. So we've successfully been able to pull her out of that space. And I asked her, I was like, why don't you want to get to know yourself? And she's like, I don't know. So she's awesome. She's freaking awesome. She has an amazing spirit. And she's really, look, I'm going to keep it G. My child has chosen an archetype. My child has chosen to be the, forlorn. I think I'm using that word correct. I can't think of the words, but the teenager. She's 11 years old, but she's chosen this identity. Like whenever you talk to her, she's like, and she's fidgeting. Like, she's chosen this archetype. Like, if you sit and you look at a troubled preteen, my daughter pops up. And so we're doing the work to help her. And I didn't understand that when she was younger. Like, she would be acting like we could see her character. She wasn't a good actress. So me and Bailey would be like, you have to figure out who you are. Now, we didn't know that we had to help her figure out who she is. That's the one piece that was missing. We could just say, do better, do better. We see you acting, do better. But now, since last February, I have realized that I'm actually the person that's supposed to help her do better. And I didn't know that. And so my daughter has spent, she's only 11, so she spent 10, maybe from 4 to 10. So she spent those years looking at YouTube. She spent those years looking at TV. She spent those years talking to her peers, trying to figure out who she is. And she's learning to be who she is based off of superficial masked images. And we would just say, do better, do better, do better. And that works for most kids. Most kids can bump around and figure it out. My sister bumped around and she figured it out. Me, I needed some intervention and I didn't get it. And so I did all the things. Bailey, and maybe this is why maybe this is middle child syndrome. Older children are able to figure it out on their own. Sometimes. But let's think about it. We have these expectations or understandings as a society because something is happening. There's a pattern here that we can figure out. Something is happening. The oldest child is receiving something somewhere. I don't know if it's spiritually, from the home, whatever. But usually the oldest child is able to figure it out. I don't know if it's because we give them more responsibility. I don't know. Something worth exploring. But we have middle child syndrome because the middle child is trying to figure themselves out. And we say it's because they're overlooked and all these different things. And I can see that. Angel has been overlooked because the oldest child, I'm bonding with her because now she's at an age where we can actually talk and have conversations. So me and Bailey are always talking and always vibing because I finally have someone that I can talk to. As you can see, I don't talk like regular people. So to have someone where I can actually talk and someone understands me is like, ah. So me and Bailey are always talking. Michael and Caden are always Michael and Cadening on top of, they were cute and little and then the middle child is the forgotten. So I can see how now they're trying to figure out who they are in order to get attention. Now they're starting to act out to try to get your attention and just to be seen. Hey, I'm still here too. But the way that they're acting out and they're doing these things, I'll catch the comments in a second, guys. Thank you so much. Help me figure this shit out. I don't know. So she has chosen her troubled archetype. And it's just like, okay, we're not going to let you go down that road. We've let you for 6 years try to figure out on your own. And I see that you don't have the skills to do so. That was me. I did not have the skills to figure it out. But I didn't have anyone to help me figure it out. It never clicked in for anyone to help me figure it out. And prior to February, it didn't click in to help her figure it out. I just accepted, okay, this is the identity that she's chosen. I must do what I can to intervene, i.e. get her therapy, i.e. get her these different things. But it never registered to me until February. I actually need to stop and get into this little girl's head and figure out what the hell is going on. And if she's not comfortable talking to me, she has to become comfortable talking to me, which means I have to create a safe space for her. Not, she's not comfortable talking to me, so send her to a therapist. Because traditionally, the therapist, I'm going to keep it G. There's people who are therapists who shouldn't be therapists. And I'm not saying everybody. My cousin is a therapist and she's from my bloodline. So if you go to my cousin for therapy, she gonna eat all day and she gonna get you put together. But there's some people who go into therapy just because they want to go to therapy, but they have not tapped into the soul. Their spirit wanted to be a therapist. Their soul is not in it, which means the reason why I'm able to heal others is because I make soul connections. So if I send my child to a therapist who is just doing a job and just reiterating what they read in a book to my child, that is not going to heal my child. And I'm not anti-therapy. I've been to therapy, and when I was done with therapy, the therapist was like, you actually helped me. I was like, well, bitch, you didn't help me. I didn't need therapy. I just went to therapy because it was free. And that's probably why my therapist sucked, because she was a free therapist. But what I'm saying is, now there's some good therapists out there. I just got put with someone who, there's not too many people who can help me figure this life out, because I'm pretty apt at figuring this life out for myself. And I surround myself with people who can help me figure this life out. And so I was just like, to help Angel, the solution isn't to send her to therapy. I've done that. It didn't work. She said what's necessary to do in therapy to get out of therapy. And then I can't necessarily go to the therapist and say, okay, what did my kid talk about? So now I can help her. The therapist isn't going to tell me those things. And so now, at some point, I still got to talk to my kid. At some point, I have to work within myself to be able to go then talk to my kid so that she can be okay. So I am not dogging therapy, but therapy is a piece of healing your child. Because what's going to happen is your kid is going to build a bond with their therapist. And they're going to build a codependency with their therapist. They cannot work themselves through unless they learn the skills to work themselves through. And all that really is self-reflection. Why do you do that? Why do you feel that way? Why do you think that is? Can we not do shadow work at home? If you can't, I discuss how to do it right there in that book. What's the best that can happen? Available at LoneeTaylorArt.com. All right, y'all helping me out here. Let me see what y'all talking about. She's an amazing person. Knowing yourself will make you so much stronger. And that's what we told her. I was just like, boom. Once you have that foundation, like, look, she wants to be, this social media influencer, she wants to be one of those girls. I was like, boo. Once you get that solid foundation, you can be her. Because all those people that you see like, oh my God, guys, look at my new water bottle. It's so dope. Yeah, you can be that person, sis. But guess what? When those people turn off the camera, they feel empty. They don't know who the fuck they are. Why? Because they have assumed a role that is a mask to get attention. That's not them. And they don't know who they are. They don't even know how to become who they are. So what we can do with you, Angel, is we can give you all the tools to know who you are. So when you get on here selling that water bottle and being that character that you want to be, you know that that's who you are. I am that person. I can get up here and say, hey, pick up my book, LoneeTaylorArt.com. Yes, pick up your merch, LoneeTaylorArt.com. Yes, I can do all of that. But I'm doing it in my way. I'm not doing it how other people are doing it, because when you're doing it how other people are doing it, then that's inauthentic. It doesn't feel good to you. That means you have to get on, go do your job, put on your mask, and perform. And that performance becomes your life, because as an influencer, which is what she wants to be, as an influencer, what you present to the world is who you are. You must be that person. So if she could get solid in who she is, then she can now go into the world and be that influencer, or be whatever it is that she wants to be, and be authentic in it. Does that count as teenage? Oh yeah, she's really on her way for teenage rebellion. She is trying to be the, I don't think she's going to smoke and drink all of that. But hey, I know there's a lot of kids who are like, oh my God, I'll never smoke. And now they're smoking. Or, oh, I don't drink. And now they're drinking. So But, you know, she has goals for herself. She wants to be a lawyer. She wants 6 children. You know, she wants to do all of these things. She has plans and goals for herself, but she doesn't see how she's going to get from this space to this space. She thinks that going through this rebellion phase is necessary, and it's not. You know, Bailey went through it because I didn't know how to reach her. But I know how to reach Angel, and I know that she can get to wherever she needs to get without going into this dark space. And so in order for her to not go into this dark space, you need to understand why we're taking your cell phone. The reason why is because you are too busy focused on this phone than to focus on yourself. Can you sit down for 5 minutes a day and journal about what happened in your day and how it impacted you? 5 minutes a day. Give me that. All right, now let's increase to 10 minutes a day. Now let's increase to 15 minutes a day. Let's increase to 20 minutes a day. And what I'm doing is I'm helping her work that muscle of self-reflection, because that self-reflection is what's going to help her know herself. If you struggle with self-love, start sitting down in self-reflection of your day. Because everything that you have encountered in your day has been for a purpose. If you hopped in this live and you're catching 2 minutes or you're catching 2 hours, it doesn't matter. Whatever I said is a form of self-reflection. And even if you're done, because I know a lot of you guys either don't have kids or you're done raising kids, but you can still take this information and help the next person while they're raising kids. You will have grandkids potentially. You will have a friend who trusts you, who trusts your knowledge. Every single one of you that I recognize in here that is in this comment section, I trust your knowledge. That's why I said help me, because I trust you. So you may be done raising kids, but you gonna know somebody who is, and they trust your knowledge. So you're not listening to this because you think I'm entertaining, though I appreciate you think I'm entertaining. You're listening to this because there's something for you to derive from it. And don't just derive it from raising children perspective. I don't have children. That's why I love Coco, because Coco doesn't have kids, but Coco will entertain a child video because she knows one day I may have children. And I understand that people listen to me. So there may be something for me. And even though she's talking about self-love for her 11-year-old, how can I take those skills and increase my self-love? So do not take anything spirit literally. She's talking about her kids. Soul. This is the work she's talking about. How can I apply that work to myself? And if I apply that work to myself, maybe that's not an area I need work in, but I can always help someone that comes to me. Does that count as cheating? Like she just doesn't want to because you guys are telling her? You know, I think so. I think that she just like her responses, she's a character. And I'm not, oh, she's a character. No, she's a character. She has assumed the role, and we have to pull her out of that role. And we have watched her try on personalities. Like I said, me and Bailey, we have watched Angel, and I've said all of this stuff to Angel, so she's aware, so I'm not talking. She might even be on the live. I told her not to get on my lives, but she might be, you know. But me and Bailey have both said to Angel, we see you trying on personalities. And so she has attracted to this, you know, so we have to pull her out of that. And I'm in prayer. I'm working with my ancestors, and I'm in connection with her soul family. And we're going to get her. We're not going to let her go. But it's like, yo, we said she doesn't like being at home. She wants to be at school. I was like, damn, and you get bullied at school. And you think present day home is worse than school? Damn. Why? I don't know. You have to know why. And the reason why you don't know why is you don't want to stop and think about yourself and feed into yourself. So you got to be able to tell me why. You have to tell me why school is better than home. Because you have friends at school. I get it on the surface, but let's go on the soul side. Let's do some digger deeping. Why is school better than home? And then she's like, it's not that I don't like you guys. I was like, I know it's not that you don't like us. We're dope as fuck. It's that you don't like yourself. And we got to figure that out. because you don't want to be in your head. You want to be distracted. I've been there. I hated myself, and I had to do the work to start loving myself. Document it there, and I have all the little tips and tricks and the cues for you to heal yourself as well. If you don't need self-healing, buy it for a friend and give it to them as a gift. And just say, hey, I saw this lady on TikTok. She said she wrote this book. I don't really know what it's about, even though you know, but don't have that conversation. Yeah, I saw this book and I decided to pick it up. I just bought it to support her, but here, you read it. You know, I'm just saying, she's not ready to see herself yet. When she does, she's going to work her nerves. She ain't gonna be ready. Remember Jan Brady? Oh gosh, she was mad at Marsha, right? Marsha. I remember that, but I don't remember. I wasn't old because the Brady Bunch came out in the 70s. I'm an 80s baby. And I know it was on in my lifetime, but I didn't grow up watching a lot of TV. That's weird. I still don't watch a lot of TV, even though I want to watch TV. I just don't have time to watch TV. And I remember as a kid, I wasn't allowed. My dad would not let me watch white people on TV. He let me watch The Simpsons. That's as close as the white people I could get. Because he would come in, I'd be watching 90210, and like, get them white people off my TV. And I was like, well, damn, there's only white people on TV, so I guess I'm not watching TV. And he was married to a white woman. Ain't that something? I wonder about that because my brother saw something online about the middle child and now I'm telling you, look, if we are not raising our children, society is raising our children. Period, point blank. Because when a baby is born, they don't know how to do nothing but goo-goo and gaga. Everything after that is taught to them. Everything is taught to them. So if your brother saw something online that appealed to them, check this. You found me online. And there's things that I've said that have caused you to shift how you move. So, who left that? Oh, yeah, that was Coco. I just wanted to make sure it was Coco who said it, because I was like, I don't know if it's not you, but I know I've had conversations with you, and I know there's things that I've said that have made you rethink your life and how you function, and not because you're trying to do me, but there's something I said that inspired you to do you. And so I'm very much in agreement that your brother saw something that inspired him to do him, and unfortunately, probably what he attached to wasn't the deal. And hopefully he grew out of it, because he was like, yeah, that's not it. That's all we do. We just try on something and we're like, yeah. Try on something else, we're like, yeah. We try on something else, we're like, yeah. Until we figure out who we are. Until we come to a space where we're just like, fuck it, this is me. Accept me for me. But just because we've accepted us for us does not mean we are the best version of us. I accepted myself for who I was. I accepted that I was a bitch. I accepted that I didn't like people. I accepted that I hated myself. I accepted that I didn't want to be here. I accepted all that stuff. I accepted my bad attitude. I accepted if somebody pissed me off at 10 o'clock in the morning, I was still pissed off at 10 o'clock at night, even though that person was a fleeting somebody that I would never see again. Everybody's catching this heat. I accepted that about myself. That didn't make it right. And I did the work. He views stuff so affected. He views stuff is so affected by it. And now he's like, well, I'm the middle child. Yep, see, and society tells the middle child exactly how they're supposed to act. See, it goes both ways. She may need a safe space. I went on walks with family members. It relaxed me. She does. She needs more hands-on-edness. So do my boys. Bailey gets her hands-on-edness because her hands-on-edness is talking. I love to talk. Angel's hand-on-edness is going to be something else that is out of my wheelhouse. The boy's hands-on-edness is going to be something else potentially that is outside of my wheelhouse, which means I have to now go out of myself in order to support my kids. And that is something that I am coming into. I won't say that I'm struggling with, but I will say that I'm coming into, because I have to do things that I don't want, but these are the things that my kid needs. So I'm in 100% agreement. I do know that I want to get her into different activities. That's always been a dream of mine for my kids to have extracurricular activities, but financially that's not possible. And I understand that there's free things out there, but then where's the transportation piece? You know, we had the conversation yesterday. I was like, are we okay with these repossessions? Because they're about to happen. And, you know, my friend suggested, she was like, park one of them in the garage. I was like, boom, that's smart. So we don't park one of them in the garage. But one of them, they about to pull up and beep, 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 that bitch up out of here. And I'm at peace. She may need a safe space. Art can be expressive too, and for my husband, our safe space to talk is anywhere but them car combos. She's an artist. She just needs, I don't know, she needs structure. And she needs to spend time quietly alone in reflection. But how do I, you know, it hit differently? Maybe do a craft with her where she makes a vision board. We did the craft or list for how she wants to be. So she did do a vision board, which was all social media influencer stuff, all masking stuff. You know, it was, and I'm not talking negatively about her, because my very first vision board was a mask. I wanted to be the perfect friend. I wanted the perfect, you know, social life. I wanted be the perfect cook. I wanted to be the perfect spouse. I wanted all these different things, you know. I wanted to work out and have the perfect body. I wanted to have the perfect career. I wanted to make the perfect money and drive the perfect car and live in the perfect house. You know, I had the black girl starter package in mind when I did my vision board. So when she did her vision board, it's a lot of external things. But I think we do need to reach back and do her vision board from the perspective that, what's the work that I need to do? So I really love that idea. We're going to do that. We're going to sit down and we're going to write down some of those areas. I tasked her with these action items, but she's not self-started enough in this particular area that she's done the work for herself. So, and that's the thing. Bailey's always like, you need these kids. Like, I'm in here on live, you know, working. No air quotes. I am working. I'm in here on live and I'm working. And my kids are being kids, you know. And then after this, I'm doing something. After this, I'm doing something. After this, I'm doing something. How do you freaking raise kids, y'all? How do you raise kids and handle business? That's why we send their asses to daycare, and that's why we send their asses to school, so that we can handle business while somebody else raises our kids. But how do you raise your kids when your kids aren't being raised by someone else? That's what I'm running into. Because it's like, how can I sit on you to make sure you clean your room? How long do I have to sit on you to clean your room? And if I created the practice of sitting on you to clean your room, when will I ever be able to walk away so you could clean your room? So I got to sit here for an hour. I got to edge out an hour of my day every day to sit here and watch you clean your room. Like, how do you clean your room without me sitting here? How do you get the kitchen done in a timely fashion without me sitting here? How do you do all of these things without me sitting on you? I don't know how to do it. So please let me know, because my dad did it with a belt. I handled my business until I knew to do it on my own, because I didn't want my ass whooped because there was a belt on the other end. How do you do it when there's not a belt on the other end? I don't know. And that's what we're running into. And when we first started, you know, I'm not doing these things to the kids anymore, Dre was like, see. I was like, okay, I know not to do that anymore. But what do? I don't know. So I'm making this shit up as I go. So we'll try this. But I know sitting on my kids for hours, like giving them my life, is that what's necessary? Like, when do I? These middle children need to be heard. Oh, damn it, I lost my place. But it's like the moment before I got insecure. These girls, but multiple, they may, my feel. Y'all been in here talking. These middle children need to be heard. I'm going to try that with my brother. Yeah, they need to be heard. They need to be seen. She should have permission to leave the conversation. Also, like, if maybe it's too much emotionally. I agree. But we also have to be cognizant of her being able to leave the conversation is I'm avoiding the conversation. So, yes, everybody has the right to excuse themselves. Everybody has the right to, but like when she says, I don't know, is it because you don't want to put any effort in? Hold on. Stop that squeaky noise and stop.
Mom, my brother didn't. My brother's sleeping, but he didn't get the toll. Get no, there's trash under the bed, but he didn't get the rest of the stuff.
So why don't you get the trash from under the bed?
No, I don't. No, not the trash. I mean my sheet pillow, my pillow sheet, and these squeaky things.
Okay, can it wait till I'm finished, Michael?
Okay.
Thank you.
He didn't get everything out.
Okay, maybe you can help him.
Huh?
You should help him. Instead of coming to tell on him, you should help him. I think that's the best idea.
I don't know how to help him.
Of course you don't, but can you allow me to work?
I'm gonna try to be quiet.
Thank you. So, you have to identify, is she avoiding the conversation, or is she truly in a space where she needs to remove herself emotionally? And I'm going to post a live, and I didn't put the camera in any of their faces. I just recorded their voices, for their privacy. Like, I think it's important. Yesterday I felt terrible that I didn't record when we were in conflict. Because if I would have recorded in conflict, I would be able to when I'm comfortable, because we're not there. Like, we are ashamed of something until we're not in it, right? When we're not in it, then we could talk about our financial issues. When we're not in it, we could talk about our abusive relationships. When we're not in it, then we can talk about whatever it is we were going through it. While we're in it, we are silently suffering. But if we stop silently suffering, maybe we can help ourselves get out of it sooner, because now we have a support system. And our support system is, ooh, girl, wouldn't be me. No, that's not support. Support is helping you brainstorm. You guys are helping me brainstorm. That is support. So all this judgment stuff that we do as friends to each other, that's not support. That's just making your friend feel stupid. That's why they don't talk to you. So you guys may be sitting here and be like, ooh, girl. But that's not what you're going to say to me, because that's not friendly. That's not helpful. So you can say and think whatever you want to in your head, but what you're saying in the comments to help me is to help me. That's friendship. So she can walk out. Oh yeah, but what I wanted to say is, I didn't record. I would be recording a video and something would pop off in the background and I would stop recording, because I don't want you guys to hear the dysfunction of my family. Here I am, the healthy family advocate, and somebody's going off on somebody in the background. We'd have our family meetings and I'm giving whatever energy, Bailey's giving whatever energy, Angel, Dre, everybody's giving whatever energy they're giving, and I'm not recording it because I'm ashamed. I'm the healthy family advocate, and this is what's happening. But this is what's happened for decades of our lives. So it's okay if we have to work our way out of it. And we have. So now I have a family meeting that I finally recorded, where it's just a conversation. Me and Bailey are laughing and joking. Dre doesn't have the energy he usually has. He chimes in with what he has to chime in, and he's taking correction now. Before we would say, well, I just won't say nothing. Well, now he's like, okay, I understand what you're saying. He's cool with it, and not correction, redirection. Angel is the only one who's caught in the old energy. We are having a discussion about my behavior, so I must shut down. No, we're having a conversation about your behavior, babe. We're trying to get your handle with care instructions. What do you need to be okay? Let us know what you need. We will move however you need to move in order for you to be okay. But the problem is, you are not moving how you need to move in order for us to be okay. So you're not taking us into consideration, people pleasing. You're not taking us into consideration to be okay. So why are we going out of our way for you to be okay? So that's where Bailey is. She's like, well, she doesn't deserve happiness. She doesn't deserve my consideration. She's not taking me into consideration. Please stop yelling. She's not taking me into consideration, so why should I take her into consideration? So, yeah. There might have been a point there. I feel good about myself used to be getting my hair done in bubble bath and getting to wear perfume. Yeah, whatever you need to do to be okay. My feel good about myself is to go to sleep. When life ain't doing me right, I will take my ass a nap and just go into my head. And when I go into my head and I come back after my nap, I feel better. Sleep is my best friend. Then my aunt would be like, so what's up with you? Crazy. I fall for that and would be talking. Oh, was Auntie not an ally? But maybe if it is necessary. There is a girl who had a rebellion phase, makes TikToks about listening to rock music. I think whatever you need, but whatever you need, is that taking you into a space of self-reflection? Are you prettying yourself up so that you feel your best self? Are you taking your bubble baths and you're reflecting and you're growing and evolving? I know you, Coco, so you've done some work somewhere. What is your process of that work? Are those things that you said, feeling good about yourself, and you may have answered it, I'm 23 messages behind, but are you doing those things to distract from your reality? Because when I go to sleep, I'm detaching. My life is going crazy. I'm going to take my ass a nap. But in taking my ass a nap, I always wake up with a solution. So something's happening in my subconscious. So if you're doing those things, you're prettying yourself up and you're becoming your best self and you're rebuilding your confidence. And after you rebuilt your confidence, but somewhere in there, you were doing some work where you came back better than when you went in, you're still doing the work. If listening to rock music is doing the work, or is it a distraction? If it's doing the work, boom. So my thing is, like, my daughter's an artist. Sit down and draw. But while you're sit down and drawing, please be in quiet self-reflection so you know who you are. Because if you are not getting to know who you are, this world is going to eat you alive. And I don't want that for my kid. I think it's necessary to rebel, but we can channel it healthily. But it's the how. Let me sit on that. Because rebellion is technically going against the rules of the house. Our house doesn't have rules. The only rule that I have is that you know thyself. Present day. If my daughter wants to go somewhere, she wants to do something, all she has to do is let me know this is what I want to do, and we work out how she can safely do it. A rebellion is someone who is trying to gain their independence aside from what is the expectation within their home. To rebel is to go against the grain, and the grain is your household. So I don't know if it's necessary to rebel if you have parents who are open to you expressing yourself. If you want to listen to your music loud, okay. Bailey listens to her music loud all the time. But yesterday or the day before, she was sitting on the patio at 11 o'clock last night, or 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like, Dre, is that music? He's like, yeah, that's Bailey on the patio. I was like, listening to her music that loud? He's like, yeah. Can't tell her nothing. I was like, yeah, we could. And I called her and I was like, hey, is that your music? She's like, yeah, the neighbors. I was like, yeah, not the neighbors, us. Like, we are right next to the patio and your music is blasting. Do you mind turning it down? And she really could have said, I don't want to turn it down. I was like, could you take us into consideration? So now we're having a reasoning conversation. Okay, you don't want to turn it down. What is the time frame you need to listen to your music? And I know this is so counter to how we have raised our children. But this is how you teach your children how to be assertive. This is how you teach your children to stand up for what they deserve, to stand up for what they want. And so, yes, I don't mind you listening to your music. Can you turn it down? I don't want to turn it. This isn't the conversation, but I'm thinking theoretically if this conversation happened, I don't want to turn it down. Okay, well, how can we work together? So I don't know if rebellion is necessary in the respect of going against the grain when your parents are in a space where they're allowing you to challenge them. My kids can challenge me, but in challenging me, are you using your brain? Don't challenge me for the sake of challenging me. And that's what Angel's doing. Angel is challenging for the sake of challenging. Don't do that. Challenge me because what I'm saying doesn't make sense. And that's what Bailey does. Bailey challenges me because he's like, that don't make no damn sense. And I'm like, yeah, it doesn't. But it's how it's always been done, so let's figure something else out. You know? But Bailey turned the music down and, you know, she's like, yeah, it's too loud. I got you. No, but for real, because Angel reminds me of me. She reminds me of me too, girl. Like, as a kid, but it's like the moment before I got insecure, I think you should let her try them on, because I saw so much in my daughter, I pushed her at a pace and I had to stop. Yeah, hold on. I'm going to pause y'all real quick because I got to yell at kids. Sorry. Hey, can y'all hear when I pause my live? I know you can't see me, but can you hear me? Because if y'all can hear me, I'm like, oh, Lord Jesus, Lonnie on it. No, I don't be saying nothing crazy. There's no detriment. Oh, yeah, I'm going to keep that thought to myself. She doesn't feel that she can be honest about her emotions, maybe. She might. Look, in this new regime, Angel is just now coming into a space where she can be herself, where she can speak her mind, where she doesn't have to shrink herself while she's getting in trouble. Like, she doesn't get in trouble anymore. Like, some of us, and sometimes we do talk to her how we used to talk to her, but at the end of the day, we're just having a conversation. Hey, you need help. How can we help you? You're not doing what you need to do. Why aren't you doing what you need to do? That's what it is. It's not she's in trouble and now she has to act like she's in trouble. Ain't that something? We're yelling at our kids because we are posturing. Great example, great story. And I'll get back to the comments in a section. Great. Bailey went to work yesterday and one of her managers said that they could start wearing shorts. So Bailey wore shorts. The other manager saw her when she came in and was like, hey, why are you wearing shorts? And she's like, this manager said we could wear shorts. And he's like, this manager was speaking to these particular employees. He was not speaking to you. Her role. So she works at a grocery store. She's a cashier. Cashiers apparently are not allowed to wear shorts. Courtesy clerks are because they're out there working in the sun and pushing carts, so they can wear shorts. But Bailey said during the conversation with the other manager, she's the one who spoke up and said, oh, really? And the other manager said yes. So it was that other manager's responsibility to say, no, courtesy clerks. But because he said, yeah, you guys can wear shorts as long as they're appropriately length, she wore shorts. Well, she gets to work in her shorts, and the other manager's like, well, I could send you home. And Bailey's like, send me home, nigga, I don't want to be here anyway, is what she's thinking. But she's like, okay. You know, she's the typical kid where she's just like, okay. Well, she's not the typical kid. She's not saying okay to be a jerk. In the past, she has. But now, her energy, she's like, okay, you can send me home. Are you going to send me home or are you going to let me work? Because this back and forth is unnecessary. This is what my daughter's thinking because she understands that people posture. She understands that people say dumb shit just to say dumb shit. So she's sitting there and she's like, okay, are you going to let me clock in or are you going to send me home? Let me know what's going to happen. You know, but the manager who's talking to her is like, they want to send her home because this manager is always looking for a way to not manage people and guide people, which is true management. This manager is always looking for a way to reprimand and be an asshole. And so he's like, I could send you home, and yet he's saying all this unnecessary stuff. And my daughter's sitting here thinking, like, this nigga's posturing. Sorry if I use language. He's posturing because I've taught my daughter about posturing. And I taught my daughter that adults are the biggest posturers out there. And to posture is you're doing something and you're putting yourself in a position that you don't even need to be in, but you're doing it because it makes you feel good. So this manager wants to send my daughter home, but he knows he can't send my daughter home because he needs her. So because I can't punish you by sending you home, then I'm going to say all this yap, because being able to berate you and let you know my power by being an asshole makes me feel better about not getting to do what I want to do. So now my daughter has to sit through this person saying unnecessary, stupid stuff. And our children are doing this too. When we sit here and state the obvious to our kid, you'll never wash the dishes on time. You ain't never doing what you need to do. Da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, that's fucking obvious. But we feel better about it because we're saying dumb stuff. Because we're not getting our way. So because we don't get our way, we are having these temper tantrums. And so her manager had this temper tantrum where saying a bunch of unnecessary stuff and still let her go to work. Because he didn't get his way, so he has to let her know, I'm not getting my way and I'm unhappy about that, so I'm going to tell you some dumb stuff and then I'm going to let you go to work. You could have saved all that dumb stuff. All you had to say was, shorts are for courtesy clerks. Don't do it again. Boom. But he want to spend 5 minutes just spouting off because it makes him feel better. So yeah, maybe my daughter about her emotions. So the point I was making before I went on that tangent, and somehow I thought I made a parallel, but it doesn't make sense in my head right now, but it doesn't matter. For 10 years, my daughter has not been able to express herself because that is what we would consider talking back. So my daughter was not able to develop emotional intelligence, because to develop emotional intelligence and to be able to speak for herself and to be able to tell me what she thinks is talking back. I don't care what you think. This is what you're going to do. So for 10 years, this was her space. So it could be very well true that just since February, so what is that? 6 months? I don't know. It's August. 8 minus 2. 6 months. I'm not good at math and I don't care if you care. Anyway, it's only been 6 months. And of those 6 months, how many of those 6 months has she been on board and believing that this change is real? When I first changed in February, my husband was like, you'll be back to your old self in 2 weeks. I was like, no, this change is real. I know in the past that I've tried to be a better wife and I've tried to be a better mother and I've tried to take this family in another direction, and I have reverted back to my old ways in 2 weeks because it has been on the spirit level. I have faked it until I made it. I have always set the intentions that I'm going to be a better mother and I'm going to be a better wife and I'm going to be, I don't really care about being a better friend, but in the byproduct of me being a better person, I become a better friend. Maybe a better family member, but they gonna do what they do over there. They come over here, I'll be good to them, but I ain't gonna stress myself out about it. But I'm definitely, my family unit, I've always wanted to be better for. But I didn't know how. And so as I'm doing the work to be better and I'm faking it till I make it, I'm trying, and I revert back to my old ways because soul and spirit aren't coming together. So when you try to change, you do it on the spirit level, but your soul's not in it because you're not connecting with your soul. You're not getting to know thyself. But when you get to know thyself, when your spirit's like, boom, I want to experience this, your soul's like, gotcha. And now you're able to do it. And that's why this time when my husband said, you'll be back to your old self in 2 weeks, here we are 6 months later, and I have a whole platform where I'm teaching people how to evolve their lives. Amazing what 6 months do. Boom, that just gave me perspectives. 6 months ago, I wanted to be a better mother. 6 months now, I'm sitting on live, 7,000 likes on my live, 4 people consistently, women who support me and are helping me evolve my life, helping others evolve their lives. 6 months. That's what changes. This is what changes. This is what consistently trying on the surface, setting the intentions and getting to know thyself, coming together, and boom. So if you want to know how to achieve something, you want to know how to grow and be the best version of you, keep trying on the surface, keep doing the work on the soul side, and eventually they will meet. But if you never try, you will never achieve. So maybe she doesn't feel comfortable because she doesn't trust us. We're trying. Because it's just as new for her that you all are changing and she's younger. You better say what I just said. TV and movies actually raised me a little. I was raised by TV. I was raised by movies. And I realized I can't keep a clean house. I'm not blaming anybody. I won't say I can't keep a clean house. If it was just me, my house would be pristine. But everybody else, the only one that I am not responsible for is my husband. I'm responsible for the other 4 people who cannot keep the clean house. And I don't know how to make them clean without putting them under my thumb and threatening them with the belt. Or sitting on them and like, okay, now go get that bowl over there. Now go get that piece of trash over there. Now I've done it, but I don't want that to be my life. How do I move out of that? But, because I remember Super Nanny was like, when your kids won't go to sleep and they go get up and play, you pick your kid up and go put them back into bed. You don't say anything to them. You just correct them, and then they'll eventually start correcting themselves. So maybe on the other end, and maybe there's an answer to my question that I keep asking, how the hell do I train these kids? There's probably an answer in these 46 messages. Hold on. Michael and Caden, go to your room. No. Why are you in the stroller? Why are you in the stroller? Okay, but we're not spinning around in the hallway right now. You're in your room. If you guys can't play with all the noise, unfortunately, there's going to have to be, I'm going to have to correct this really quick because I'm tired of having to repeat to these little boys to be quiet. Hold on. You can only pause the live 3 times. Well, y'all about to watch me walk away and hear me yell at these kids since they have put stipulations on my pauses. Y'all hear them knees cracking? Hey, not only are you in the hallway, you are right outside of my door. Get out of the stroller and go to your room.
Can I get a cereal?
If you guys could play without all the yelling, then that's fine. But y'all can't seem to respect me with keeping the noise down. So unfortunately, go to your room. Okay. Sorry. Let's see, but he's gotten so much TV. TV raised me. Music raised me. My peers raised me. I can't think of one adult that raised me. I know adults that influenced me, but I can't think of not one adult that raised me. One adult that set me down and gently parented me. Gently said, hey, what's going on in your head? How can I help you? I've experienced this and this is what I experienced. Not one adult in my life has done that. Every adult that I've encountered has criticized me and told me what I'm doing wrong, but none of them told me what to do right. So I'm figuring it out. But yeah, I was raised by media. And that's why I know, don't let the streets raise your kid. I mean, I'm pretty savvy, but I'm not normal. I am not the normal. I was raised by the streets. So don't use me as an example. When you push too hard, they shut down. Yeah. When you push too hard, they shut down. They do. You know, in the energy, like I said, I'm going to publish the live, and you're able to check it out at Lonee Appleton live on YouTube when I upload it. I'll upload them today. I got a couple lives that I need to upload. But, you know, we keep trying to encourage Angel to just lighten up. Just because you're in a space of correction or redirection doesn't mean you're in trouble. That shut down and posture and pretend, okay, I'm getting in trouble, so this is what getting in trouble looks like. No, getting in trouble looks like this. You can talk to me. I don't have to pretend. Boom, that's the point that I was making. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to shut down. Like, my kids already know what their consequences are. Am I going to get a spanking? Are you going to make me do this? Do I have to do this? They already know. And I've spanked my kids, y'all can't see it, with this cloth belt. You see this piece of cloth? I spanked my kids with that cloth belt because they gotta get, they are, what do they call it where you respond to physical punishment? I can't get no respect unless I'm beating on a kid. So I started using the cloth belt. That thing doesn't hurt. But when I tell you they holler and scream as if I was whooping them with the whip, because they're posturing, they're going through the motions. So I'm trying to let Angel know, yo, we don't have to do that. Let's have a conversation, sis. What do you need? I got you. But you got to have me. This ain't a one-sided relationship. It's not, I'm going to take. This is the selfishness we talked about yesterday. I'm not going to allow you to take as much as you can from us and receive all the benefits of being a part of this family when you're not going to give to this family. Because then I am setting you up to be a person that goes into spaces with your friends and your family, and you're taking as much as you can and you're giving as little as you can. And right now, you are giving as little as you can. When are you going to learn how to self-correct? Life ain't perfect, but it's beautiful. It can be beautiful, and I just hate that she's miserable. She says that she's unhappy. I said, what do you need to be happy? I don't know. Well, then you need to get rid of that phone so you can figure out what you need to be happy. And it can be internal. It needs to start internal, but there can be external things that make you happy, like artistic expression and doing these different things. But your happiness cannot be in a thing, an external thing, because when that external thing is unavailable, now you are unhappy. So we need to learn how to be happy within ourselves. And the only way that we do that is spending time with ourselves and identifying the things that make us unhappy. That's what I did. I wrote a list of every reason why I hated myself. And I went down that list and I documented it in this book available at LoneeTaylorArt.com. I documented it and I said, okay, these are all the things that I don't like about myself. Of those things, and I started talking about this on the live yesterday with the big blue book. Of those things that I don't like about myself, what are the things that I can change? And what are the things that I have to accept about myself? And yes, my finger doesn't straighten anymore because it's on its whatever the hell it's on. I remember my grandmother had arthritis in her hands and one of her fingers was long and skinny and all fucked off. I think that's going to be my finger. Anyway, of those things that I don't like about myself, what can I change? What can't I change? And the things that I can't change are the things that I need to accept. But that's how I did the work on myself. I started changing the things I didn't like about myself. Initially, I did the work because people didn't like me. But no one really told you, these are the reasons why I don't like you. If I asked you right now, why don't you like me? You ain't gonna tell me. I'm sure there's things about me you don't like, but you ain't gonna tell me. Well, y'all might tell me because y'all too real, but most people ain't gonna tell you what they don't like because they don't want to hurt your feelings. But if I ask you, what don't you like about me? I'm trying to work on myself. Please help me. Helping me is helping me. Not telling me is not helping me. Therefore, that hurts my feelings more than you say, you know, I don't like the way you do this. I'm like, yeah, okay, I can work on that. Because chances are if it triggers you or it does something to you, it might bump up against someone else. And chances are it's something that triggers me too. So help me do some self-reflection. Be my mirror. If I am not apt enough to look at you and see the things that bother me about you are reflections of myself, and that's the work that I need to do. If I'm not there yet, then please, if I say, hey, is there something that I do that bothers you? Like, yeah, when you do this, boop, boop, boop. I'm like, okay, boom. Note it. Now I can do the work. So that's how I healed myself. That's how I started my healing journey when I was 15 years old. My cousin said, nobody likes you. And I was like, okay, I got to do some work. So I just started watching people and started watching myself and how I respond to people. Now I'm 42. I've started evolving myself at 15, but I did it myself. No one was there to help me. I'm here to help you. So let's do the work. Let's write these lists of the things about yourself that you don't like and either accept them or get rid of them. Maybe it's the approach, because I hate questions. It makes me shut down and try to figure out what the person wants me to say. It could be. But what's the alternative approach? I've told her about herself in the past, and now I'm just asking her about herself. Hey, let me know what you need. I've told you what you need thus far, and this is where we're at. So let's try something else. A decade later, let's try something else, because what we've been doing the first decade ain't working. How we gonna work this next day? Day by day, conversation by conversation, we will move and shift in whatever direction needs to be moved and shift for her to be okay. She is in her bowling alley. I am her bumpers. Dre are her bumpers. Bailey are her bumpers. And we're all trying to keep her within her lane, but she has to tell us what she needs to be okay. The best you can. Yes. Like now. Oh, damn it. Did you take me to the bottom? Shit. The way my job. Okay. You know what? Maybe I could do this. No knees cracking. Ha ha ha. My knees ain't nothing, y'all. It's terrible. And it happened March 2020. I know exactly when my knees went out, because I was doing push-ups on the ground. And when I got up off the ground, my knees were aching, and they've ached ever since. And I know it was March 2020 because it was when Derek passed away. And so, and I had just bought a scale. It's crazy. The day that Derek passed away is the day that I got on my scale. And my scale documents, your weight and all of those things. And so my original weight is locked in on the date that Derek died. It's really weird. Like, now I ask him if he's like, I don't know. And sometimes I'm like, well, feel like this. He thinks or feels this is, and asked if my assumptions are correct, and he'll say no. So I ask him to explain. Yeah, I try not to assume, because we assume, right? No, that's not what you're thinking. You're thinking this. And Bailey was doing that a couple times last night while we were talking to Angel. And I was like, Bailey, we don't know. Let Angel speak for herself. We have had a bad habit of talking for Angel. We have had a bad habit of talking for Bailey, and so we need to break that habit. We can't ask them, so Angel, what's going on? And then Bailey's like, I'm going to tell you what's going on. How are you going to tell me what's going on with Angel? How are you going to tell me? I'm learning from other people's experience. It's so true, because I'm realizing my mom did her best. Yeah, that's all we can do is our best. But with the awareness that we have today, I can forgive my parents. Why? Because my parents do not have the awareness that I have. And my parents did their best. And the trauma that my parents inflicted on me, can you guys hear me? Because I done switched over to this other thing so that I can read your comments so they're bigger. But the trauma, will you send me some hearts if you can hear me? Because I don't want to mess up my comments, because I'll scroll down. Can y'all hear me? Send me a heart. Send me a heart. Send me a heart. So I don't think you guys can hear me. Oh, okay, there's hearts, so you can hear me. Okay, boom. All right. Well, when I'm upset, I do this. When I'm angry, I do this. Did I go down to the bottom? God damn it. Yes. No, I don't know. Oh, do you want cereal? Yes, you can have cereal. Fine. We need to go to the grocery store, y'all. So they eating whatever the hell they can eat at this point. Getting to the grocery store. Oh, Lord. This is my life, and that's all I can say. I'm experiencing what I'm experiencing because other people in the world are experiencing this. and I need to know what it's like to build empathy. I'm rolling out some videos right now where I introduce what I call the pink hair challenge, because I put pink in my hair because I had kind of a bias against people who wear color in their hair. Like, I would see it and it would like bump up against something in me, and I was like, well, I don't want that, so I put color in my hair. I had a bias against people who smoked weed until I went on that Bob Marley tour, and I was looking around and I was just like, I'm literally standing in a house full of weed smoke, and I'm vibing with all these people who are dope ass humans who just happen to smoke weed, and they're all vibing together and building bonds and community behind weed, and I'm just like, what is my bias again? So I expose myself to the things that make me uncomfortable and help me grow. And so I see the value in it. And it's helped me change my philosophy and my judgments of others. How can I judge something that I am of? How can I judge someone when I see people who are doing the things that I've judged and they're just people? I don't remember why I started talking about that, but challenge yourself to do things that make you uncomfortable. And that's how you grow. Does she know she can leave the conversation? I mean, sometimes you don't know, sometimes you're overstimulated. Again, you cannot not give me anything. Give me something. Try. So yesterday, her trying and her win was she would go into this, and I'm like, bring it down, relax. And so she was doing her breathing and, coming back to baseline. So that was the growth space. She didn't give me any answers yesterday, but she was able to bring herself back. Look, it's training wheels. She is experiencing a space that she's never been. And she may not trust the space. She may not be comfortable in the space. She may not, whatever with her sister. Her older sister tries so hard to connect with her. But in her trying, she's like, I don't even want to connect with her. This is a waste of my time because I keep doing all these things and she just keeps saying, back at me. Her actions just back at me. And it's just like, Angel, if you want a relationship with your sister, how come you're not matching her energy? How come you are not doing what you can? She's like, and Bailey was like, I have a bag of Takis that has been sitting in my room for a week that I can't even give to you because you can't get right. And I'm like, damn, you fucking yourself, kid. And that's what I thought about. I thought about God. I thought about blessings. And I was like, I'm not saying my daughter is God, but in that respect, my daughter has a blessing for her sister, and she's watching her to see how she reacts to things so that she can bless her. Ain't that what God does? God sits there, or your higher power, or universe, or manifestation and vibration, however you want to bloop, bloop, bloop it. In order for us to receive that which we desire, there is an energy. This is how I believe. I don't know how other people believe, but this is how I believe. There's an energy that's like, well, you gonna get some get right? If you get some get right, I got you. Boom, here's your Takis. Here's your job, here's your spouse, here's your whatever you are trying to manifest and call into your life. You have to do the work to align, because there is something or someone that is watching to see if you are ready for it. And Angel's not ready. So Angel's blessing, which is a bag of Takis, something she enjoys, has been sitting in her sister's room for X amount of, because she just can't get right. And it's real simple. It's simple stuff. Even the changes in our lives, if we can stop talking about Angel for a second and we can talk about just our lives, the changes that we need to make are so freaking simple. So simple. But our pride and our ego will not allow us to make those changes without a fight. My husband has changed, and he's a whole new person. And he fought me kicking and screaming the entire way. So if you know you're going to change, and the reason why I haven't been just adamant with my husband is because I can look at our history and see every time that I brought a new concept to him, he's changed. He just has fought me the entire way. And I'm bringing that up to his attention. I'm like, dude, you fight me, but you still change. So can we just skip over the fighting part and just do the work? So who knows, the next time we need to evolve and change, hopefully evolution and change is just the way that we function now. Every moment we don't evolve and change and this is our new normal forever. No, we evolve and change in every moment. We might need to evolve and change, and we need to pivot, and we need to pivot. Why? Because our life is constantly changing. If we live like this, then we can remain the same. But I have zero desire to live my life like this. I want to live my life, probably at a bell curve, not a bell curve. Bell curve comes back down, but, at an angle, I want to experience it, but I want to go up. I want to experience it, but I want to go up. I don't want to go linearly, which means I have to consistently be evolving and changing. That's all you can do. Yeah, my parents did their best. I don't hold them to task. I don't. Because I messed my kids up too. My mess up don't look like my dad's mess up, but I messed up too. So who's right, who's wrong? We all got work to do. I'm sorry if I'm taking up the chat. It's a topic that's closer to her home, so it's discussion for me. Boo. I really got on this live today with no agenda. Like, usually I'm up early enough where I can meditate, and I would have had a discussion with somebody online that gave me talking points. And today I just got on here and I was like, I don't even know what the hell I'm going to talk about. And here we are 2 hours later. So thank you for taking up the chat. And thank you, the real baby, for taking up the chat so we can have a conversation. I hope this is helping someone. I worry so much about the how will I raise my future kids, but I'm starting to realize I can only keep working on me and hope I can give them the best. Boom, Coco, you about to be a dope-ass mom. You are a dope-ass wife. You're about to be a dope-ass mom. I already know from our conversations that you're figuring it out. The best parent is the parent that is trying to figure it out. The best parent is the parent that knows they don't know everything. The best parent knows that their children are as much as a classroom to them as they are to their children. Those are the best parents. You cannot prepare yourself to be a parent except for to know that you don't know how to be a parent. And once you know you don't know how to be a parent, you go into parenting day by day, moment by moment, figuring it out. Those are the best parents. Not, oh, when I'm a parent, this is the type of parent I'm going to be. And then your kid hits you off with something, you be like, damn, what do I do now? Figure it out. Not replicating what was done to you. So many of us refuse to figure it out, myself included. I refused to figure it out for 17 years. My oldest is 18. I refused to figure it out for 17 years, even though my oldest was telling me, hey, Mom, you need to do something different. And I was like, I acknowledge that, but I don't even know what the hell I'm supposed to do. So I'm now trying to figure it out. So I'm in my best parenting space now. And in my best parenting space now, I can very much openly say, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But I'm trying. And those are the best parents. We are all human. That's right, Barbara. Maybe she'll open up to Bailey. They have to work on their relationship. Bailey is open to having a relationship with Angel, even though Bailey says that she doesn't care if they have a relationship. But Bailey's actions do not match her words. But as Bailey moves into her feminine energy, that anger now subsides and it turns into, you're actually just hurting my feelings. Like, there was a conversation that I had with the girls where Bailey broke. She finally broke. And she was like, you're hurting my feelings. It's not you piss me off. You're hurting my feelings. If I'm doing all these things for you and you're not doing anything for me, you're hurting my feelings. And if I'm your sister and you love me and you want to have a relationship with me, why do you continuously hurt my feelings when all I'm asking you to do is pick your goddamn underwear up out the bathroom? Respect me as a human. I respect you, so respect me. And so Bailey's doing the work, and I see her efforts. It's so beautiful because Bailey came from I tell you, when I was pregnant with Angel, I couldn't afford daycare. And so a neighbor, not even a friend, not even Christine, I think that was her name. But anyway, she offered to watch Bailey while I work. And I've talked to Bailey, so she's given me permission to tell this story. she would watch Bailey while I work. Well, one day I come home from work and Christine's like, well, I caught Kyle and Bailey in the closet. And I was like, okay. And I didn't think nothing of it because, we all play doctor. And then I'm talking to Bailey about it. And the way that she's explaining it to me, I was like, no, this wasn't kid curiosity that was taking place in this closet. This little boy was abusing you. Because he was using manipulation tactics like, I do this for you, I play with you, so you should do these things for me. And I was like, for this little boy to use these manipulation tactics on my child means he learned them from someone else, which means this little boy is being abused. So I went back to the mom and I was just like, your child's being abused, and I don't know if you're their abuser, but you might want to pay attention to that. Because for your child to use these type of manipulation tactics on my child means that your child is being abused. And so I was like, I can't afford daycare. I need to send Bailey somewhere. So that's when I called my sister and I was like, hey, can Bailey stay with you for a couple of months while I get my footing? Because I had just got out of cosmetology school and I was going to be a cosmetologist. They said 80% of cosmetologists don't become cosmetologists. I was like, I ain't going to be part of the 80%. I succeeded everything I do. No, I just went to cosmetology school to meet my husband. That's it. Because I can't do hair. And so I could get good at it if I could practice, but what black woman is letting you practice on their head? So enough said. I'm not a cosmetologist. But I called Dre up, and this is the story about how I almost ran his foot over. I called Dre up and I was like, hey, I got to take my daughter to Colorado. Do you want to ride with me? Well, Dre didn't have nothing going on, so he was like, sure. His best friend was out in Colorado, so he was like, I haven't seen him in years. This is an opportunity to go see my friend. So he rode with me to Colorado. This was our first road trip, and it was terrible. They say if you want to get to know somebody, go on a road trip with them or go on a trip with them. This was our first trip, and by the end of that trip, I tried to run that nigga's foot over. Couldn't stand him. We stopped talking for like 6 months or a year. We stopped talking for a long time. But the reason why I tell that story is I had to send Bailey away while I was pregnant. And I was the only parent Bailey had. I'm all she's ever known. And I had to send her away to the unknown. Yes, that's my auntie, but she don't really know those people. And them people don't get down like I get down. So now I sent her into a space to try to acclimate and be that she knows nothing about. And so when she came back home, when Angel was born, I think she's always had an issue with Angel. She won't admit to this, but I just feel in my soul that she's never liked Angel because she blames Angel because she got sent away. And I was like, no, that's not why. I just couldn't take care of you. I couldn't keep you safe. Because I know I was so bad like that. I'm trying not to cry. That's why I'm quiet. With frontal lobe development, that my parents did their best with their knowledge. Yeah, they did the best. My parents didn't do their best. Well, boom, here we go. My parents did the best in their drug-hazed space, which was nothing. They did nothing. But they were suffering. They were going through their own thing. So I can either choose to be angry because they didn't do their best. They didn't try for me for shit. But I also know, hey, they started doing drugs at my infancy, if not before, at my conception. Even before my conception, my parents were addicted to, rock. And so they were battling with that addiction throughout my entire life, off and on. Not solid for X amount of years, but they got off, got back on, got off, got back on, whatever. And I see what my dad was going through. My dad was going through a divorce. He had the brain thing that happened. A blood vessel popped in his brain. So he went from this army man, staff sergeant, to his right side doesn't even work. He almost died. And when he didn't die, he had to learn how to walk again. He was like, you're going to die. Okay, you're going to live, but you're going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of your life. Okay, you're not going to be in a wheelchair in the rest of your life, but you got to relearn how to walk. So I went through all of that with my dad. So imagine the depression, especially in the 80s or the 90s. You know, imagine the level of depression that this black man was dealing with in a world that doesn't care about black people and really doesn't care about the mental health of a black man. Who is he going to tell he's depressed? Who are his friends? Does he have a friend group? I ain't never seen I ain't never seen my dad hang out with nobody until, and I don't see your hearts, but I see the number going up. So thank you so much, because I have my comments up, because if I switch back to the other way, then I can't see your comments and then I lose my space, and I don't want to ignore your comments because this is what's keeping our conversation going. So, but I see the number growing and I'm so thankful. You know, so my dad, he lived a lonely life, and he probably still does live a lonely life because he's not a very expressive person. If someone's not expressive, and I'm not saying that speaking is what everyone must do. I love being silent. I love living in my head. But I like to wager that my dad is very lonely because he hasn't done the work to be okay. This is an assumption, but just based off of what I observed as a child, and what I know of him today, I know that he has spent 60 some odd years of his life trapped in his head, and he doesn't even know how to get out. He doesn't even know that getting out is possible, because when I talked to my dad about self-love, he was like, self-love? What is that? How come you don't love yourself? How can you not love yourself? Okay, that's surface. What you're talking about, Dad, is self-acceptance. I'm going to accept myself for who I am. I accepted myself for who I am. But I did not love myself until I did the work that I put in this book. I did not love myself. I accepted myself, and people are going to accept me for who I am. This is my attitude, this is my mood, this is how I move. Boom, you accept me or not. That is totally different than self-love. Self-love is you are 100% okay with yourself. You love yourself coming and going. And in that self-love, you care about other people. Because how you impact other people is a direct reflection of your self-love. You won't do other people wrong because you won't do yourself wrong. And to do them wrong is to do yourself wrong. And that is the people pleasing that I'm talking about. Now that I say it that way, I'm happy I'm a people pleaser. So boom, I'm not trying to do nobody wrong. I'm trying to be up all the time. And my being up, you gonna be up too. We up together. What does that look like? She's a middle child in the middle age when the evolving happens. Yeah, so we're going to see how she comes out of this. We're just now bumping up against it. Against it in a way that we can do something about it. We've been bumping up against it for years, but now we're bumping up against it in a way that we can actually help her navigate it. Auntie was an ally. She got me to talked about my feelings. The best sleep was what they call my temporary unaliving. Thank you for sharing the live. It's hard. It depends, because I self-reflect because of trauma. Ironically, rebellion is going against the rules in society, and knowing yourself as a rule is still a rule. Okay, I'm with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just trying to analyze. I was like, okay, is rebellion necessary? And if so, how do we navigate it? So yeah, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Here in My Life is a Classroom, that's the catch, I think, is letting them rebel in a healthy way. But let's say the dishes, that's not a rule for your daughter, but she's expected to hasn't done it. I think rebellion is how we find ourselves. Yeah, I do think rebellion. So that's why it's not rebellion to me, because if we're finding ourselves, then who are you rebelling against if you're allowed to find yourself? You know what I'm saying? Rebellion is you have no way to express yourself. Yes? Okay, both of you need to leave each other alone. Go find something productive to do with yourself besides picking on each other. I think if your parents allow you the space to figure out who you are, which is what I want my daughter to figure out who she is. So I cannot want her to figure out who she is and have restrictions on her. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm going to put my bumpers up because you're only allowed to move within this area. So these are mom's expectations. These are Dre's expectations. And you know Bailey's going to fit her ass in there somewhere. So these are your expectations. You can move within those expectations. So I just think rebellion is going against the grain or going against the rules, but she's allowed to express herself. So the not doing the dishes, we've even came to the space where everybody will wash dishes. We haven't been consistent because this was on the spirit level. It didn't hit the soul level yet, so we ain't really figured it out. But, you know, we even came to the space where, like, everybody just clean up after yourself. If everybody, you know, if you make a dish, wash your dish, rinse it off, prep it for Bailey or Angel, whatever you need to do, you know, we've tried to compromise. Bailey was like, she just doesn't need to have to do the dishes because she's not doing it. I was like, well, who the hell's doing the dishes? You mean now I got to wash the fucking dishes? Like, I already got to sit on people. Now you're trying to take the responsibility from her, but who's the responsibility going to fall on? So it's trying to figure out how to navigate it. I agree. Rebellion is if you're being repressed. So you're trying to get up under that repression and find your identity. I agree. But she is no longer being repressed, but it's only been 6 months. So she's still trying to figure it out. But none of my kids at this point have a reason to rebel because they could do whatever they want to within their parameters, and I will guide them. Yeah, but Bailey is more adult than Angel. Not saying underestimate Angel, but it's different. Yeah, Bailey's not Angel. Two different people. The way we challenge intellectually is learned, but we don't know always why we're challenging. But I think sometimes it's because, simply put, we want to know why or understand the other person telling us a thing. I agree. That's so good because I stayed shrunken for a long time. Yeah, I stayed shrunken for a long time. I stayed shrunken for a very long time. Take it back. So I'm sure it's coming. She's just trying to figure out how much she can get away with. She's trying to figure out how she can remain in her comfort zone without giving us what we need. And we're like, no, your comfort zone is detrimental to you. What you're comfortable with is setting you up for failure. So I will allow you, once you figure yourself out, now we can start getting comfortable. But I will not allow you to get comfortable in dysfunction. I'm sorry. I'm not going to stand by and allow my kid. I've done that for 10 years. For 10 years, I allowed my kid to try to figure out who she is and to get comfortable in that space. And she's still not really comfortable in that space, but it's familiar to her. No, you need to get to know yourself. And once you get to know yourself, now you can get comfortable. All right, and what exactly it means for her. Things have been changing so much in my realm. This is inspiring because I just changed and it's only been a month and I'm like, so when do I see the results? But look at you setting an example. I'm telling you, 6 months. You literally, Barbara are the real baby. If you're not following Coco, follow Barbara, follow Coco. Same difference. You guys are amazing women. But Barbara has been rocking with me since December. Barbara has seen my message change. Barbara has seen, I posted a picture of me and somebody was like, is that really you in the picture? I was like, yeah, I don't look the same. I don't look the same. Everything about me has changed and my message has changed. And I have taken this for granted. I have taken what I have built in 6 months for granted. 6 months ago, I would have got on live and I wouldn't have 12,000 likes. I wouldn't have 6 people consistently. I wouldn't have you in my comments. helping me carry this conversation. I wouldn't have that 6 months ago. But I have it today. And I cannot take that for granted. Just because all the glitz and the glam and all the things that people tell you this is what validates you aren't happening does not mean that things aren't happening. I have successfully built a platform in 6 months. Being myself. Being comfortable in my skin. You can do that too. Whatever it is, you can do whatever you want to do, and you know what that is. I don't. But you can do it, and it's just consistent effort. But in that, you got to catch some wins. The reason why we quit is we don't catch no wins. The reason why I wanted to quit is because, damn, that live only got 200 likes. That live only had one person. Half the time there was nobody there, and I was talking to myself. But I'm pushing myself through because I'm like, well, I can upload it to YouTube and somebody can watch it. That one person needed it. It's not about the likes. It's not about the views. It's about you getting the message out there and helping someone. And if it was just that one person. But Coco's one of the people that was just like, you can't even pay attention to the numbers because people are just scrolling through their lives. They could scroll through while you taking a drink of water and you see that number jump up and then it jumps down. It's not that you said something that didn't interest them. It's like in that split second, you didn't grab their attention. It wasn't for them. So it's not you. People are gravitating to what they need. And knowing what I'm doing is such a spiritual and physical evolution. What we're doing over here, and I'm not going to say me, what we're doing over here, because this conversation has been carried by Coco and Barbara. What we're doing over here isn't for everybody. So we're not going to have those huge numbers off top. This going to catch fire when it catches fire, but can we appreciate what we have done in 6 months? And I say we, because every single one of y'all that's rocking with me, if you were not rocking with me, I would have quit 6 months ago. So we have built this. This is your power too. So you have to understand that your power is in community. Your power is in your ability to show up for yourself. Your power is in your ability to show up for others. So I appreciate you. And I keep telling myself, man, get off these people's nuts. Stop jocking them. Stop shouting their name out. Stop doing all those things. They're going to get tired of every time they click on one of your videos, they hear their name. Eventually, I'm going to stop saying your name. But right now, I'm going to keep shouting you out. I'm going to continue to give you your flowers. I am going to continue to give each and every one of you your flowers because you are growing me. You are why I'm here. Because if I didn't have nobody to talk to, who the hell am I going to talk to? Myself? I've done that for years. Only been a month and I'm like, so when do I see the result? I see, you be speaking into me and I'm speaking into you and we speaking into each other. That's what friendship is. Coco said she don't do friends. Coco said she ain't got good history with friends. That's because we need to redefine what friendship is. Friendship is whatever you need in the moment and you're receiving it from somebody. They're being a friend to you. And in return, you are giving them whatever they need in the moment. And you are being a friend to them. And the moment they stop giving you what you need, it's time to reevaluate that friendship. And that is okay. The reason why we have such struggles with friendships is we identify something. We're like, ooh, this is my new friend. I'm going to do everything with my new friend. Oh, yeah. These are the shoes that I was talking about. These are the, hey, daddy shoes. Anyway. This is my new friend. I'm going to make my new friend everything for me. Well, my friend has limitations and they can't be everything to me. My friend can only be a gold shoe. Oh, but I want you to be a black shoe. Well, I can't be a black shoe. That's okay, because I'm going to go find me a black shoe. Gold shoe, it's been real. Now, I'm friending with the black shoe. And what that means is, no, society tries to tell us we're being inconsistent and we're shady and stuff like that. No, I'm no longer trying to force this gold shoe to be anything but a gold shoe. You be the best goddamn gold shoe you can be. Now, there are some gold shoes who are like, I know what you need, and this is what I can give you. So I can't be a black shoe, but this is what I can do for you. And are you able to accept that? Or Don't even ask your gold shoe to be that. So there's give and take, there's compromise, there's all kinds of things, there's acceptance. But the moment that somebody stops feeding you, you give them your handle with care instructions. And if they don't adhere to those handle with care instructions, how many times are you going to allow them to disregard what you need to be okay in this relationship? And once they've hit that, don't push it out a little. Okay, I'm going to let them do it one more time. I'm going to see one more time. I'm going to see one more time. No. If they cannot adhere to what you need to be okay and what you're asking for is not ridiculous, all Bailey needs is for Angel to pick her underwear up off of the floor. I am not asking you to change anything about yourself. Just respect me enough to not leave your dirty ass clothes on the floor. You can't do that for me? Well, how many times do I have to accept that disregard of me in this friendship? Now, this is a sister dynamics and they live together, so they kind of have to deal with it, but it's the exact same thing in your friendship. How many times are I going to allow you to disregard my requirement? My requirement isn't too extreme. I just want you to pick up my calls. I just want you to call me back. I just want you to show up on time. I just want you to stop leaving me waiting. Are those things that you can do for me? If you're going to be late, can you call me? What's the control that we can put in place so that we're on the same page? If we are dealing with people who can't do that for us, why are we going to marry them? And then we're going to be miserable? If they didn't align to our requirements in the dating stage, why are we marrying them? We cannot want to be married that bad that we are going to lock ourselves into misery. But we lock ourselves into misery because we don't know that marriage is supposed to be a happy place, and it is. Everybody's unhappy. There's probably 1 or 2% that's vibing. The rest of us are just trying to force a square into a round hole. I can't square my fingers, but you know what I mean. Girl, you can keep a clean house, yet no one showed me. I just learned how to clean and still learning. Yo, back to that. A clean house. I grew up in a military household, which means my father made me make the bed with the corners, the military corners. He would inspect my dishes to make sure they were clean. Everything was linear. Like the house that I like to live in, my spices are in alphabetical order and they're all lined up. My refrigerator, boom. My cabinets, boom. You fold everything one way and you do all of these things. That was my formidable years. Not my formidable years, but that was some years. My other training ground, I grew up in a crack house. So you can imagine what that looked like. So I grew up in a military household, and I grew up in a crack den. So I can either be in clean or I can be in filth because I know how to function in both. I prefer clean, but if y'all want filth, I could do that too. So, you know, I'm about to get off this live and scrub these damn baseboards because I'm going to have to bring this house that I have allowed my children to maintain up to standard so that my landlord could get off my back. But I can do both. So those of you who are like, oh my God, I can't believe you live like that. Well, shit, I grew up in a house, a crack house. Can you believe it now? Like, we got to stop judging people. We don't know where they came from. I came from a literal crack house. I came from a trap house. This is great compared to my trap house. Doing that teaches them, though, like repetitive actions. Eventually, you'll notice that they just do it. That's what happened with Dre. Eventually, Dre just got on his ball. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't want to lose his family. He's been rebellious, but every change that Dre has made in this relationship. See, look, Dre, he doesn't like this because we think of the extreme, right? Manipulation. Manipulation on the extreme is people are able to get into your head and tell you who and what you are. Manipulation on the positive side is you're adaptable. You move how you move. I know when we are making sweet, sweet love, I hope I don't offend you because I talked about adult content and I'm 42. I'm too young to still talk about that. But when we make sweet, sweet love, if I'm rubbing Dre's arm, Dre will start rubbing my arm. He models and he models, that's the word. It's not model. Anyway, he does what I do. And so Dre has been told all of his life that he's easily manipulated. And I told him, I was like, you're easily manipulated. I was like, but now that you know that can't nobody manipulate me, he says that because he's posturing, nigga. You're easily accept that shit. Because once you accept something about yourself, then you can put a control in place to not allow it to happen. If I know that I'm easily manipulated, now I know that I'm easily manipulated, so I'm looking for people who are trying to manipulate me, and I'm looking to protect my space so that I cannot be manipulated. And so the good thing about Dre is it'll bump up against his ego, but because he's easily manipulated or he's adaptable, he's like, yo, this does bump up against my ego. This does bump up against everything that society says that a man is. A man's not supposed to yield to a woman. A man's not supposed to listen to his woman. A man's not supposed to help. A man's not supposed to do all these things. I love when I start talking about how men are supposed to do things. My numbers go through. But, you know, a man's not supposed to do those things, but Dre does them. And that's because he's like, I'm not going to lose my family. Yes. Well, you can talk when I'm done. I'm done in 12 minutes. Go clean your room. And so I love that because my husband is easily manipulated, he's able to adapt and move the way that our family needs to move. And the thing is, his previous wife took him this way. So if you're easily manipulated, you allow someone to take you here because he aligned with the wrong person. But his current wife, his wife is taking him this way. So that means he can trust me. If you know that you're easily manipulated, now you surround yourself with people who will take your conformability and hold it close to them and protect it. I have protected my husband. I have protected my husband more than he has protected himself because he has allowed people to manipulate them based on their relationship to him. I'm the first person to come in his life, and I'm the bulldog. Don't nobody like me. Why? Because I see you trying to play him. I see you trying to play him. I see you trying to play him. And I see you trying to play him. And he allows himself to be played because of your relationship to him. He allows himself to be played because he is, quote unquote, the first person in his family to have something. And now we're going through what we're going through, and we can't call nobody. I'm like, damn, you can't call nobody to help you? And he's like, nah, I ain't got nobody to call. Even if I called them, they ain't got the money to give them. I was like, man, if you went and just got back the money that everybody said they were going to pay you back, we wouldn't have no financial issues. I was like, I need you to see who's showing up for you when you're down. I got people on the internet who are showing up for me when we're down. But your own family can't show up for you when you're down? Pay attention to that stuff. He's like, they always going to be my family. I'm like, that's cool. But we at least need to put a cap on. First of all, you need to talk to him. I can't. He's a grown man. He can do what he wants. He can make his own decisions. But we need to put a cap on our help. You know what I'm saying? Because 99% of the time, if somebody's in a position to have to borrow something from you, they don't have it to give back. Because they use that money to take care of something that they need to take care of. Now, when Dre's cousin was getting married, he needed to borrow $2,000 in order to finish paying for the wedding. Those were extreme expenses that aren't normal expenses, which means once all these expenses are behind us, we'll have the money to pay you back. Not, I can't afford to live because I don't have enough money to maintain my lifestyle, so now I need to borrow money. When someone in that position needs to borrow money, the likelihood of them paying you back is zero because they're always going to need their money to live. Always. In our case, we're just on I don't know what the hell is going on, y'all. I don't know. No, please leave my room. I told you not to unlock my door, and I told you not to come in here. Don't open my door. Please go. No, I don't think it's cute, and you don't need the spider. Go. I want you to respect me and go. Stop. You're going to drop my phone.
He's keeping on locking your door.
I know, so lock my door and leave, please. I just got a couple more minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, we're just going through a season.
The fire and the
and we're going through a correction. And I don't know what it is, but I was just like, you can't call nobody. He's like, no, I ain't got nobody to call. I was like, damn. You know what? I ain't even had to call nobody. I just talk about my situation. And my friend is like, well, I got you on the kids' school supplies. I got you on the kids. And, my other friend's like, I got you on the kids' pants. They're super cheap right now. I could get those for you. I don't even have to ask. Now, you mentioned, and your family's like silent crickets. They ain't got you on nothing. Pay attention to that. And I understand that's your family, but you have to understand that sometimes your family is some lower vibrational out for self motherfuckers, and you got to see that. So when they come to you and they be like, I need, they're gonna repossess our trucks too. Where were you when our shit was getting repossessed? You ain't had nothing for us, but you want me to have something because now you're in this crisis in your life. We matching energy as far as I'm concerned. He's like, you don't understand because none of your family ever, yeah. My family's so splintered that we don't even call each other. Shit. Me calling my sister to help me with my daughter, like, that was some out of the world stuff. Because I don't got no relationship with my sister. Back then I had a fake one. Anyway, I'm done. No knees cracking, just the door opening. Talking from experience will open people to learn and communicating with you and wish more adults knew that. Yeah. The number of people who tell me to shut up. Thank you for sharing the live, Coco. Maybe it starts with a question, then a direction, like you ask what you need. She says, I don't know. And you say, well, when I'm upset, I do this. When I'm angry, I do this. Would you like to try any of those things with me? I'll try it. These babies just spent 2 years in solitary seeing us acting crazy. I don't know the context of that, but 2 years. And so I'm trying to remember what I was talking about, but I don't remember, Barbara. Oh man, where did I don't like unhealthy. These babies are different. I know. Okay, here we go. Not assume in that way. Assume in a, what's the word? It's so hard with comments this sort. I learned that my brother sometimes didn't have words for the stuff he feels, so we had to start telling him to try his best to explain it. And one time he described why he didn't listen as someone else telling him not to listen, even though he was two, and we had to dive into that. I like you, Coco. You know some things. Let me stop so you can catch up. I keep commenting. These babies are different on a whole nother level. Healing the wounds instead accepting that you're bleeding out. Exactly. And why did you see the way I said you're bleeding out? Because that's the way Trinity talks. I tried to put on her accent. Every time I read her words, I'm like, try to put on my accent. It's so funny. But yeah, we got to heal the wounds. Too many of us are bleeding out and then just ignoring it. And it's common because everybody's bleeding out. We're all just out here bleeding on each other and nobody cares, because it's normal. Anybody got a Band-Aid? Anybody got some sutures? No, we're just going to keep bleeding. Okay. I don't know if there's another word for rebelling, like in a healthy way. So rebelling may not be the right word. I understand exactly what you're saying. Testing boundaries. Yes, I understand exactly what you're saying. I was just saying the conflict association with rebellion, right? The pendulum can be here and the pendulum can be here. Rebellion at the infancy is, just trying to figure yourself out. Rebellion on this side is nobody will allow me the space to try to figure myself out, and now I am becoming a problem. So rebellion is correct, or testing boundaries is correct. It's just on the extreme. I don't think presently we're experiencing the extreme, so we evolve. If you're not always trying to prove on self, then can't complain about the world. Yep, you can't complain. You can't complain if you're a part of the problem. Be part of the solution. I call it public video diary. I love watching my own self-awareness journey. Yeah, I encourage everyone. You ain't gotta post nothing. I encourage everyone just to hit record in their life. Just hit record and see what you record. Okay, shoes. Okay, I feel targeted. friends, that is my downfall. You did it again. Thank you. Let's see. The gold shoe is a gold shoe. I can't get caught up in my feelings. Yeah, you can't. You can't. Ooh, I made it to the bottom. Yeah, you can't. You have to allow people to people. But in allowing people to people, there has to be a fluidity there, right? So there has to be a go with the flow adaptability there. And most of us are trying to find people that perfectly fit into us. And nobody's going to perfectly fit into yourself. I am raising 2 children in the exact same home who are on 2 different pages. So if these people are having the exact same message fed into them and they're responding to that exact same message differently, how do you think somebody off the street, i.e. a stranger who was raised in a different atmosphere than you, is going to meld into you perfectly? Only way somebody's going to meld into you perfectly is if they are adaptable, if they are able, teachable spirits, if they are able to, you are someone that I choose to align with, and I can see, I can take this off my screen now. How do I get it off? Okay. And I see, I can see the hearts again. And I can see by aligning with you is good for me. This is how we differentiate. I think I'm saying that correctly. You know what the hell I'm tell the difference. This is how you tell the difference between, have I gravitated to low-hanging fruit? Thank you so much for the love, guys. Have I gravitated to low-hanging fruit, or am I gravitating towards the higher up fruit? Now, some low-hanging fruit. I was low-hanging fruit. I'm sure you guys can look at me now and say you're not low-hanging fruit, but I was what someone would consider low-hanging fruit. I was a throwaway, but I'm adaptable and I have a teachable spirit. So all I had to do was find someone who was willing to feed into my spirit and teach me and give me an opportunity to grow. So you may find a piece of low-hanging fruit. But when you find that piece of low-hanging fruit, are they adaptable? Are they malleable? Because even don't let nobody change you. Lord, if you don't let nobody change you, you're going to be like this your whole life. This is the way you want to go through life? I don't. So damn it, I'm going to change. But I'm not changing for everybody. If I choose to be in a relationship, because I'm all about don't change unless it's your forever. Should nobody get that from you except for your forever. Now, whatever that looks like Trinity's like, she's been with her boo for X amount of years. This is their dynamic. They don't need a piece of paper. I get it. And I respect that. That is how you have chosen. And how do we work within that? So whoever is your forever, I'm in 100%. We need to do whatever's necessary to be forever. But now, if you just dating somebody, you don't come in and say, okay, what you can do when you're dating somebody is say, okay, we need to cooperate and we need to work together. But you don't change who you are at the core. You could do this surface level shit. You can do this soul shit with these motherfuckers because you need to figure out how to be malleable. You need to figure out how to go with the flow. So you can practice. Yes, you can practice. But you evolve and change. Ooh, see, who is that? I like how you on that. That's how I be. I be just popping into people's lives like this. I'm going to just give you all the hearts. It ain't nothing but a finger. If it's my middle finger, we might have some issues because that baby's broken. But that index finger, that works. Thank you so much. But you can practice and develop your skills. That's why when these guys are like, I'm a dog out every female until I find my wife. Why? So you can practice with your wife. And now she gone because you were mistreating her because you never took any chance to try to figure out how to treat a woman. So there needs to be practice. But that evolutionary change where I'm going to be whatever's necessary to be in this relationship, that's reserved for your forever. Because the adaptability that I have taken on in my life, everybody does not deserve that. The only person that deserves me yielding and bending and becoming a completely new person and asking them, what do you need? And all these different things. And I will change for you. The only person that deserves that is a person that's willing to do it for me. And so that's what you should be looking for. You should be looking for someone who holds you at such a high esteem that they're doing whatever's necessary for you to be okay. But the respect on the other side is you're doing whatever's necessary for them to be okay. It's not the way that it has been in my relationship for the past 6 years. My husband has done whatever's necessary for me to be okay. And I've taken advantage of that. But now I'm aware. And now I'm asking him, what do you need to be okay? And he doesn't know. So we'll end on that conclusion. Tomorrow, we will pick back up on marrying your best friend. Coco, thank you for helping me carry this conversation. It is a wild ride, right? I hope the rest of your day is full of love, peace, and joy. Thank you for, I don't know if you left or you came back, but you're back and wishing me love, peace, and joy, and I wish it back to you, babe. You're a favorite. I love that I hear things in people's voice once I hear them talk. Oh, yeah. I'm about to pick up on your voice because you do the voiceovers. So I'm gonna start hearing your words in your voice. I'm not gonna force it to happen, but yeah, I did a whole interview with Trinity. It's posted on Lonee Appleton Live, and yeah, I hear her voice in my head now. So, all right, guys, thank you. Tomorrow, 12 p.m., same bat channel, same bat time. I appreciate you all. Yep, you do voiceovers. That's how I've heard your voice. You know, I've only seen you in a little circle, but I've heard your voice. Have a good evening, guys. Have a great day. I'm about to go conquer this garage, and then we have meet the teacher at the kids' school. So they're going to go meet their teachers, and luckily their school is right across the street, so we could just walk over there. And I'm going to keep it G. I'm going to hide one of these trucks in the garage so the repo man can't take it. So that's why I'm cleaning the garage, you know. My friend was like, girl, you better park one of them trucks in the garage. I was like, oh, say less, sis. You so smart. I love when I got my shifty people in my corner. I'd be like, let me tell you what you do. Y'all tell me how to beat the system. I'm going to beat this motherfucking system. And I'm going to come out so goddamn shiny. I talk about this because, no, I don't want you to feel sorry for me. No, I'm not begging. I'm talking about this because other people go through it. And I'm talking about this because you're going to watch God. You're going to watch God elevate my family. You're going to watch it. And you're going to realize and you're going to see that God brought my family from losing everything. I'm going to record the repo truck like, I ain't lying, y'all. That motherfucker gone. Why? Because this time next year, we going to be a shiny new penny. And I know that. I know that in my spirit. So that's why I can't even get down on myself. That's why I can't even be like, oh my God, you hate me. Because historically, please go. Because historically, every time I've been down, God has brought me up afterwards. You have to do a completely wipeout in order to be restored. You cannot build a new home on a shaky foundation. And God is removing this old foundation. I told God, I was like, I don't want this life anymore. I don't like this house. I don't like these cars. The only thing I want to take with me is the people. The people. In my Lonnie Taylor art merch. In my Lonnie Taylor book. You know, that's the only thing that I want to take with myself. All available at LoneeTaylorArt.com. So when I put into the universe, I don't want this life anymore, and this life started going away, I was like, damn. Okay, hold on. I don't want this life anymore, but I want it. Stop! You are knocking my stuff over. Just basic respect. No, I want basic respect. Please leave my room. No. I don't want to hear anything. I want you to leave. This is what not beating your kid looks like, y'all. If I had a belt, I wouldn't have these damn issues. All right, y'all. Have a good evening. The come up is going to be so real for us, man. So real. Coco's an author, so look out for her book when it comes out. Feel the change, embrace it, and then enjoy. Look at you still giving the message even to the very end. I'm going to feed y'all soul. That's what I do. All right, y'all. Real talk. Thank you so much. And I will see you tomorrow, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.